don't know if this is. There, yeah, we're back. My bad. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road, brought to you by A-Main Hobbies and HPI Racing. We are back, and yes, the track is looking pretty good. Not completely dry, 100%, but pretty much dry. A couple of little wet spots in there across the way, but they've already had an e-car out there, and everything looked pretty good. The car came back pretty clean, so we are ready to rip, and that was some 30 minutes ago. Hello, I'm Ken Stout, and sitting alongside is Mike Garrison. Scotty Ernst down there in the pits, chatting with some people as well to find out what's going to happen here. If you're just joining us, we have been on a fairly lengthy rain delay. Unfortunately, got rained on, and then it started to dry out, and we were really close to going racing, and then, of course, it rained again. But the sun is now out. It is hot. It is also humid, so conditions have changed drastically. Yes, this is the 2023 Visions RC at Visions Off-Road. Plenty of our sponsors as well. We want to thank them, A-Main Hobbies, HPI Racing, Tecan, VP Fuels, Team Associated, and Lifetime. So back here ready to go. We've got a lot of racing to do, and we're going to try to jam it into 2.5 hours. We think we can get it all done, but we are going to rip here, line them up, and turn them loose. And with more on what we're going to see here today, let's get it down to Scotty. Scotty, what's the theme, man? What's everybody thinking down there?
All right, thank you very much, guys. We're here trackside, getting ready to roll again. The cars are starting to roll out of the pit line, and these guys are ready to go at it. Mother Nature, she's always the boss. Caused a little bit of rain, got the track pretty wet, but Joey and Aaron from the Dirt Crew did their magic, got it ready to run. About the last 20, 25 minutes, we've had sunshine, so they're locked and loaded, ready to go for our first race here of Invite. Back to you, Ken and Mike.
Thanks a lot, Scotty. Appreciate that. Yes, some cars already out here on the track. The clock is already counting there in terms of the warm-up session. 15 laps in distance. We already had them out here on the track, and the rain came out. Immediately, everybody jumped off of the track. Mike, you touched on it real briefly. The electronics in these cars are exposed, so the last thing they wanted to do is get these cars wet. So everybody got them off there, and they've had plenty of time to prep them. Maybe make a couple of changes. I chatted with Dakota Fend a little bit. He thought primarily tire might open some things up there just a little bit, but other than that, he felt like everything else would be pretty much the same.
Yeah, it looks like the track conditions have changed a little bit, but not near as much as I thought they were going to when we first saw the rain move in. I think, like you say, Joey and Aaron and the Dirt Track crew did a fantastic job. You can see, though, those outside lines out there where the kind of fluff is and all that, that is pretty wet, especially right here. We're looking at Mayfield as he takes that inside right there. If you head a little bit wide there, that's pretty sticky, and that traction is going to be real easy to get out there and flip a car upside down. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays a part in this one. There, you see
Mayfield. That's that area of the
wild
track. You've talked about it a couple times. I brought it up to the guys down there as well. I also brought up is that something you would adjust the dampers for, knowing you're landing so hard, the rebound is bouncing the car back up in the air. You have to immediately make that right-hand turn. But pretty much the consensus is, as we anticipated, was if we adjust for that, it'll hurt us everywhere else. So it's just something that they're going to have to learn how to deal with, and hopefully better than anybody else. It might also open up a passing opportunity, and we're talking about that section right there.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, I think, a make-or-break section here for all of our classes. We've already seen some of the drivers in the open and sportsman classes struggle with it, and even in our invite class as well. As you can see, their warm-up clock is winding down. These drivers getting ready to line up on the front straight. This order lineup here is simply by pill draw. It is at random. And whoever wins this invite race today will start our invite main tomorrow in the number 1 spot.
Yeah, so and let's touch on this real briefly because it might be a bit different than they typically format these things, but they did a pill draw. The pill draw will determine the starting spot for all 3 of the Invite Nitro Buggy heats that will happen here today, and then depending on how they finish in each one of those heats will determine their starting position for the A-Mains tomorrow.
That's right. So we got some big money on the line, of course, this weekend here at Visions RC. However, no money up for grabs here in these heat races. This is just for starting positions tomorrow. Tomorrow's main event races, that's where all the money comes into play for these invite guys. But now our open guys that we saw earlier, like Camden Lime, As they qualify, if they're a top qualifier out of the rounds of qualifying today, they do get that $1,000 check, and they're going to the invite class. So money's still up for grabs in the open class today.
Yeah, for sure. And to elaborate once again on this pill draw, the reason they do it the way they do it is they want to make sure everybody has a fair chance at winning their heat race, meaning everybody will start at the front of one of the 3 heat races at some point in time. They'll all start in the middle, and they'll all start in the back at one point in time. So they've made it as fair as absolutely possible so everybody has a shot at the big money in the A mains tomorrow. Okay, as you can see, we're about ready to go here. They're going to do the drop, and it is showtime. Here we go. Invite Nitro Buggy Heat Race number 1. The best in the world are going at it.
Well, it's starting out front. It's going to be Ty Tessman. Of course, Ty Tessman, former IFMAR world champion. He is definitely a force to be reckoned with here this weekend. Of course, one of the world's best. He's got Spencer Rivkin right there behind him, and Ryan Mayfield in that number 3 spot. We look back at last year. We remember Rivkin and Tessman had a little bit of a scuffle last year on the racetrack.
Yeah, a couple of guys actually, and doing exactly what we thought this track might do. You can see everybody lined up nose to tail. I did chat with a couple of the guys. They said passing's going to be a bit difficult because everybody can run within a couple of tenths of each other. So we'll see how things shake down here. As you mentioned before, Ty Tessman, so solid here. The former world champ's been racing for some 18 years. 2023 MAO-sponsored Dirt Nitro Challenge champion as well. So great to have him out here, and he is leading the pack around. Everybody knows the tail right now. A couple of bumps there in the middle of this track. We'll see how they upset the cars and if they create some opportunities.
Yeah, Spencer Rivkin running that number 2 spot. No surprise there. Dakota Finn starting in the back of the pack. He set some of the fastest laps we saw in that practice session earlier this morning. However, he's got a lot of work cut out for him here on this one. And this track is going to be tough to make up time. So for Dakota, even with the faster lap times, he's got a lot of work ahead of him starting in the back like that.
Ryan Mayfield is there in 3rd place as we watch them all clear that big jump. Of course, Mayfield, former ranked number 1 in the world. Actually, when we came here last year, he was ranked number 1 in the world. Currently ranked number 3, ranked number 1 in the U.S. And he's out there looking for a spot. He just gets it right there. Beautiful job, man. Opened up the entry there to that turn. I saw Rivkin do that a couple of times, and you cannot do that with a Mayfield behind you.
Absolutely not. Those guys, good friends off the track, obviously on the track. These are all harsh competitors. Jared Wiggins in the number 4 spot, our winner from last year here in the Invite Division, sitting in 4th. Mason Fuller up in the number 5 spot. Taking a look there, Ty Tessman gained a little bit of track there on Mayfield, the number 2 spot. Rivkin in 3rd. Wiggins starting to close the gap up on Rivkin just a little bit.
Yeah, and it looks to me like Mayfield driving away from Rivkin just a little bit as well. Obviously, in the midst of making that pass, you're going to lose a little bit of ground. Curious if we can see him close up here on our leader, Ty Tessman. We saw it in the lap times before. It looked like Mayfield was a couple of tenths off from some of the quicker lap times, but with a couple of hours off and time to make adjustments, he'll be right in the hunt.
Yeah, and I tell you what, look at the lap times right now. As you mentioned there, a 27.4 is fast lap for Ty Tessman. Mayfield's fast lap at 27.4 as well. Rivkin's fast lap at 27.5. Fast lap of the race actually set right now, and that time by Ryan Mayfield, a 27.1. 0.3 of a second faster than our second fastest driver on the track. So Mayfield is on a move here as he tries to catch up to Ty Tessman.
And, of course, these two got a little heated 1 year ago. So
Yes.
it was actually more than a little heated. That was certainly documented well, so we'll find out how things go. I mean, it happens in racing, right?
Some reality TV drama going on right there last year. Good stuff. Back on the track together again. Maybe will we see a retaliation, perhaps?
We'll see. I think it's all about earning that spot right now. It looked to me like Mayfield missed the center of that one turn there just a little bit, had to breathe it. But he was definitely closing the gap there from where he was. He has pulled up nicely. I don't know if he's got enough there to make the pass, but he's certainly right there, and that's what you want to do, right? If nothing else, create a lot of pressure.
Absolutely. Try to put the pressure on, and I tell you what, though, Ty Tessman, he is a tough one. He's as cold as ice when it comes to trying to break him on pressure, and Mayfield and these guys have all raced together for a long time. Looks like Rivkin may be closing back up just a little bit. Saw some chaos there in the back of the pack. Thing to take note of here with only 7 laps to go, Dakota Finn has only worked his way up into the number 8 spot, and he still has some of the fastest laps on the track. That makes me think, I tell you, the guys that are starting in the back on tomorrow's main events, that's going to be tough for them to get back up to the front. So
yeah, exactly what those guys said. It's going to be a tough track to pass on when all the lap times are pretty close. And Rivkin, closing up the gap here on Mayfield. as well. We watch them work their way around here. There's one left-hander where I think Mayfield's, Rivkin unfortunately into the tube there cost him. But Mayfield is entering a little bit tight, a little bit early, if you will, and Tessman is right there. So right there he opened it up. So Mayfield opened up that line just a little bit and carried more speed through there. But Tessman had been beating him through there every single lap, and now Mayfield's figuring that out as well.
I'd be curious to see their tire choice as well for the next round for these guys, because just between the time the race this race started and now, the track has changed tremendously. We're already getting some dust on top. You can see it's starting to get a little bit more slick. The traction's starting to go away just a bit in the main line. So I'm curious whether they change compounds heading into round 2 or not. These two guys seem to have it figured out the best, though, as they start stretching out on the rest of the field. 4 laps left to go here for Ty Tessman.
Yeah, Tessman has that one corner, man. He runs it so well. And he really gets off the bottom of the turn well and then drives it out. A couple more here to go, and we'll see if he can pull it out one more time. And then Mayfield spends the rest of the lap catching him. So right in here, he just drives away from him every single time, carries good speed to that left-hander, and then Mayfield spends the rest of the lap catching back up.
Yeah, 3 laps left to go. New fast lap on the track. It's a 27 flat by the legendary Jared Tebow, driving the Miyako car on his retirement tour here. This is his final year in full-time. Oh, did you see Mayfield
right there? Man. He was thinking about it. He is right there twice. So the pressure now starting to work, I think.
Yeah, Mayfield gave him a little lunge there in the corner and let him know, I'm here. I'm waiting for you to leave the door open, make the slightest mistake with 2 laps to go. Mayfield is he's not afraid to get aggressive if he needs to. He's going to try and set him up as he comes back into the center section here.
He was ready for an outside in on both of those turns right there, but Tessman kept it tight.
Here it comes right here. Oh, not quite close enough.
Yeah, right there. Great battle there. Ooh. Oh, man, that was close. And that's how close the passes are going to have to be, man. You're going to have to stuff it underneath somebody to get it done.
Well, this is going to be their last lap right here. Mayfield's going all or nothing. Here they come off the drop-off. Keep an eye on him right here. Oh, they collide.
He was right behind him, had nowhere to go. So Tessman's small mistake also gathered up Mayfield, and that'll probably wrap things up here for this final lap.
That mistake actually worked in favor, I think, for Ty. I think he's probably better off making that mistake.
I don't want to speak too soon here. One more like that, and Mayfield will make him pay, but looks like he might be able to hang on here. Still ripping.
Looks like, I believe that last time around was their last time across the line. So Ty Tessman going to take invite round number 1 here for our qualifying. Ryan Mayfield 2nd, Mason Fuller 3rd, Jared Tebow 4th, Spencer Rivkin 5th. A good run for all those drivers there. So Ty Tessman, tomorrow's invite main event number 1, he will be starting 1st. Ryan Mayfield will be starting 2nd. Mason Fuller starting 3rd. Jared Tebow started 11th on the grid in that one, worked his way all the way up to 4th. Spencer Rivkin fell back into the number 5 spot.
Yeah, and you mentioned Tebow there. He did have the quickest lap of that event with a 27 flat. Just to put that in reference, before the rain, we saw some lap times down in the 26-second zone. So the track will no doubt come in a little bit more before all things are said and done here as we take a look at our MAO Racing unofficial results. Ty Tessman up top, Ryan Mayfield providing plenty of pressure, Mason Fuller there in 3rd, Jared Tebow from the 11 hole, as you can see there, all the way up to 4th, and Spencer Rivkin, who was up front early on, ends up inside of the top 5. Camden Line, 6th place finish right there after bumping in.
Yep. He wasn't kidding when he said, I've got what it takes and I'm here to show him. There he was.
All right, let's get it down to Scotty Ernst.
Thank you, guys. We're here with Ty Tessman coming off his first win of the weekend. That was just that was a hot sprint.
Yeah, for sure. You're going as fast as you can for the whole time, and I mean, if you make a mistake, you really can't make up any time. Mayfield made up a little bit of time on me. I blew a couple corners, but just trying to make sure I don't make a mistake in the front. That's the worst thing you can do is throw away a lead, so I just tried to maintain it. But yeah, it's going to be a full-on sprint every time. I don't think you're going to be able to pass unless you really get aggressive, which could be interesting later in the weekend.
Absolutely. Now with the rain delay and everything we had, how much different is the track from earlier this morning till this afternoon?
It's gotten a little bit tackier, actually. The front straightaway is a little bit rougher. My car handled it good the whole time. Towards the end, it seemed like I lost a little bit of grip, but I think everybody kind of did once it dried out. So maybe see if we can make some adjustments to the car to band-aid that. But yeah, my car's been working great the whole weekend. Just happy to get a win under my belt and get a good starting spot for tomorrow.
All right, best of luck to you. Good job.
Thank you. I just want to thank all my sponsors for all the great support over the years, my family for always sticking behind me, and most importantly, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
All right, thank you, champ.
Thanks.
All right, there's Ty Testament. He's been around the block a long time. Getting a draw. It was a pill draw, basically. He got the number 1 starting spot, and he took full advantage of it, taking the win. That's going to put him on pole for final number 1 tomorrow. Back to the studio, Ken and Mike.
Thanks a lot, Scotty. That's exactly right. And that heat race there was for starting positions in A main number 1 tomorrow. And if you can win the A main, it's $1,500 hit. If you can win the overall, it's $5,000 hit. If you can clean sweep, it's a much bigger hit.
Yes, I tell you what, these guys have an opportunity to take a whole lot of money home here from this weekend, and now we're getting ready to head into our race number 1.
So a little highlights reel here from heat race number 1. It was a great pass there that we saw Mayfield make on Rivkin, and then slowly worked his way back up to Ty Tessman, creating a lot of pressure. Could have stuffed him right there and checked up just a little bit. Tessman with a small mistake, but it collected Mayfield as well. Worked out for Tessman and ended up winning that one. So he'll start on the pole, as Scotty just mentioned a moment ago, on A main number 1 tomorrow. Great stuff. Plenty more racing yet to come here from MAO. Thanks for joining us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back on the other side here at the 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road.
AMSOIL runs on freedom and has since 1972. The rest of the market has been trying to follow our lead ever since. But a head start is a head start. Run with us.
Searching low in the night. Ooh, does she know that we think the same? Ooh, don't cry.
Get it, boys.
AMSOIL runs on freedom and has since 1972. The rest of the market has been trying to follow our lead ever since.
And welcome back to the 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road. One heat race in here for the Nitro category to set up A main tomorrow. It was Ty Tessman that came out here and threw down early on. Had the lead from the start and hung on to it. Plenty of pressure provided by Ryan Mayfield, who also made a really, really nice pass there on Rivkin. So it gave us an idea. Spencer Rivkin, very solid, but opened up the door just a little bit. And Mayfield made him pay, and that's what they're going to have to do here if they're going to make a pass. We heard that from Tessman as well. He thinks to make a pass, and you're going to have to get aggressive out here, and you don't want to crash somebody, but sometimes wheel to wheel is what it is. If you've opened it up enough for them to get up beside you, you better get ready.
Yeah, and then as we get set to go here, this is our second round of qualifying. We're getting set to go here with our Sportsman Nitro buggy drivers. These drivers run a more traditional race format here for these guys. Dylan Bontrager, Michael Forrest, Francis Sosing, Bruce Burnham, Nicholas Logan, Garrett Parker, Blake Remington. It looks like these drivers all getting on the clock. And this time around, round 2 of qualifying, race number 1. We've got 2 more, or this round and 1 more to go. We got 3 total rounds of qualifying. So we'll see our invite drivers again 2 more times here today in the Nitro class. We'll also see a lot of those drivers up again in our Open e-buggy class. A lot of the invite Nitro drivers running the Open class. And of course, after this, we'll see our Open Nitro buggy class, where those drivers will try to set the fastest qualifying time for the round, and those who do will move on to the invite class.
So good stuff, all about seat time, right? I mean, you want to get as much as you can. Even the pros understand that, and they'll take advantage anywhere they can.
If you could guarantee yourself in a perfect world that you could enter the Open class, run to the final round, and then move up to invite and get yourself as much track time as possible, that might be the way to go, but I don't know you want to take that risk.
The one caveat to that, if I'm thinking about this correctly, is if you're the last bump in, you don't get a chance at any of the heat races. Consequently, you would start at the very back.
Ooh, that's true. I didn't think about that. You are correct, yeah.
So if you bump in, as we saw Camden Lyon, he got in that first heat race, so he'll have a 6th place starting spot in that first A. So, yeah, you want to. That's the advantage of trying to bump in as soon as possible. But in terms of track time, yes, it's another way to look at it.
Well, we're off and running here in this one. 2 minutes, 10 seconds down, 3 minutes 50 to go. Michael Forrest going to be out for, nope, take that back. Dylan Bontrager taking over the lead that time by with a 12 at a 6:03. That's 12 laps in 6 minutes, 3 seconds here in their qualified session for our Sportsman Nitro buggy class.
Yeah, and Dylan had a good run going a little bit earlier in here today as well. Michael Forrest now bumping up there just a little bit more, literally by 0.08 of a second. A 12.603.108 versus a 0.186. So it shows you how close they are here already. So, yep, no worries. And Scotty's going to work in here and check out his mic. We've been battling a little glitch in that.
Audio check, 1, 2, 3.
And clearly still there, so electronics, they're always throwing curveballs out here. It's just the nature of the beast, it seems like.
Well, Dylan working his way around here. Our race leader in the green and pink dropping down there. Going to be coming up on some traffic here. Dylan right now has got the fastest lap on the track at 28.7. About a 2-second difference from our sportsman division per lap in our invite division, running in the 26s. These guys running about the 28s.
Yeah, and to put it in perspective, the sportsmans would probably beat, 95% of the rest of the world. Like, if you had to go, I don't know about you, you're probably in the game, but if I had to go out there, they would destroy me. I wouldn't be even close. So we're certainly not knocking these guys, but this is where the next level, if you will, before you get to that open category, and then up to, the ranked drivers.
Well, prime example, it doesn't seem like that long ago we were at the Nitro Challenge and we see Fee Long win in the sportsman class. Now he's running in the invite, and he's a threat to win this whole thing this weekend. So, I mean, in a matter of time, these guys catch on very quickly and take their racing to a whole new level. So, Dylan Bontrager, he's on the right track to do so here this weekend as he's looking for another top qualifying position in sportsman. Oh, double trouble there.
Yeah, that one really cost him right there. And once again, for those watching on, if you're not familiar with it, I certainly understand your predicament, but this is not what I would call traditional qualifying in terms of whoever lays down the quickest lap. This is a combined effort for the total length of the session of 5 minutes, so take all the laps you can possibly run. Whoever can run the most in the shortest amount of time will be your overall number one.
Yeah, it's a bit of a confusing process for qualifying once you get it figured out, it makes sense. But trying to explain it or trying to figure it out for the first
trying to
time.
explain it's a little more difficult than it really is. I mean, it's a great way of going about it. It's certainly just as, I think, honestly, it's a better representation of who was best in the session rather than just quickest for one lap.
Well, and as we're saying that, Dylan Bontrager, he has actually covered both cases because he's got the fastest lap on the track, single fastest lap, and he's got the best pace right now, which is what really matters. He's on a 13 at a 6-minute 25 second place run. Sosing in that number 2 spot, Logan in third. Now Michael Forrest back out of the number 3 spot. With only 25 seconds left to go here in this race, we're watching our race leader as he comes down the front straight. Onto that right-hand side, into the tricky drop-off section right here.
Oh, really nice job. You see how good that car reacted right there?
Dylan's really old.
The damper setup must be really good for that particular area.
Dylan's had a pretty near flawless race here.
Yeah, he kind of missed the next couple of turns, but
announcer's curve.
Really nice wall grind. Tube grind in this.
Yeah.
A little wide, got up there in the fluff, put it on the bike, then stuffed it into the next jump. I mean, when it goes wrong, it dominoes, and then you can do that.
Looks like, I believe, Dylan may be finished up here. His clock has expired, so he's going to finish up 12 at a 6:04. So 12 laps, 6 minutes, 4 seconds. We only have one heat of Sportsman Nitro Buggy, so Dylan is going to be your round number 2 top qualifier here for our Sportsman division.
Congrats to him. Nice job. I thought that was me out there driving for a moment. That one that was flipping across the infield.
There you see the drivers all coming into pit lane. I'm interested to see what the tire choice is going to be here as the track starts to dry out, get a little dust on it once again. Our qualifying results there: Dylan Bontrager first, Michael Forrest second, John Cayley is third, Francis Sosing fourth, Nicholas Logan rounding out your top 5, followed by Remington, Burnham, Parker, Robinson, and Womack.
Congrats to those drivers. Yeah, kind of curious to see where they will go here as well. And once again, saw Dakota down there prepping tires. That's what he was doing. It looks like the big track is starting to dry up as well. Saw some of the Class 11 cars out there when the track was wet. If you're not familiar with those, they are bone stock VW Bugs, and one of them was doing his best to get up to the top of that turn. It wasn't working out so well, but so it goes.
Yeah, all sorts of action here this weekend from Mid-America. Of course, we got the Nitro Cross crew back there, and you saw them getting on the track, getting there. I believe their practice sessions are today, getting some track time for them as well.
We're going to let Scotty try his mic here one more time.
Check 1 2. Mic test 1 2. Check 1 2. Mic test
that?
1.
Nice stuff. That sounds good, Scotty. Much better than what we had there before. I don't know if we'll have time to catch up with Dylan, if he might have already bugged out there or not. Quickest in that last Sportsman Nitro Buggy heat.
Got to send a quick text there before he gets racing.
Yeah, well, so it goes. Maybe checking timing and scoring. Checking the stock market.
That's
see how
right.
things are going.
Yeah.
I can tell you how mine's doing. I don't even have to look.
Sportsman E-Buggy coming up next here. So we just saw our Sportsman Nitro division. This is going to be our Sportsman E-Buggy class.
And really what you're looking at there is some of the Travis Pastrana Nitro cars, the Nitro rally cars that will be out here competing tomorrow. This is a practice day for them, a couple of different divisions, but some 1,000 horsepower electric cars will be out there getting it done, putting on a great show here tomorrow. We'll also be out here tomorrow, obviously, with our RC event, the 3 A mains, along with the open category and sportsman categories as well. So we'll be battling for all the big money. Don't know if I mentioned that since we've come back here after the rain delay, but $30,000 up for grabs. We talked about the winner getting $5,000. If you can clean sweep it, it's $1,500 a race for each one of those A mains. That would add to it. There's also a bonus. I believe it's either $5,000 or $5,500. So at the end of the day, if somebody has a brilliantly good day, better part of $15,000 in your pocket, that's a pretty good day for RC racing for sure. And a nice payout throughout the other positions as well, to hand some money out to the rest of this field. So super cool to come out here and watch them throw down for the big money.
Absolutely. And as we were just talking about, ironically, the cars that were headed out there on the course, the rally cars, those are the E-cars. So the electric rally cars, we saw the Vermont Sports Car Team, their driver, Connor Martell, taking the track. And as they send out their E-cars, we get set to send out our E-cars. Our electric buggies are getting set to take the track for Sportsman E-Buggy.
They were giving us a nice shot of that Barbie Jeep downhill as well. And
you're going to enter that, right?
No, not sober.
I
don't know. You might not even be allowed to enter it.
I was going to say, Brittany here in our studio just told us it's $1,200 to win.
Oh.
Does this count as a Barbie Jeep?
That's great, Mike. If you're not familiar with Mike, he has a great sense of humor. He's in a wheelchair, unfortunately, but he just pointed at the wheelchair and says, does this count as a Barbie Jeep? So that's good stuff,
I'm going down the hill.
I'm glad you can laugh at it anyways, right? Nothing else, laugh. So good stuff here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. And we're back here at Mid-America Outdoors, MAO, as we refer to it, for the 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road. Brought to you by A-Main Hobbies and HPI Racing. Ken Stout and Mike Garrison sitting alongside, and Scotty Ernst roaming around on the driver's platform as we continue on here. Sportsman E-Buggy Heat Race number 2 coming out. We have the Nitro cars out here just a moment ago. Time now for the E-cars. Chatting with some of the guys over there as well. It does appear as though the E-cars. I think we lost Mike there for just a moment, but checked in with some of the guys. The E-cars are just a little bit heavier than the Nitro cars, but pretty much the same application to the setup applies. It's not significant enough. As we wind down our warm-up section here, 10 seconds left to go, and then we will start the 5-minute clock. Q2.
Good shot there under pit lane there. Everybody's trying to stay in the shade. As we are off and underway here for Sportsman E-Buggy. Race number 3. Let these drivers get a couple laps in here. We'll see where they shake themselves out to be. Dylan Bontrager in that last one for Nitro Buggy. He is back up in the E-Buggy, so he's running back-to-back. And we're looking at Dylan right now. Can Dylan go back-to-back TQ? We are about to find out here. Here he comes down the front stretch onto the right-hand side. Dylan, oh, that was close. Just about catching the corner marshal there in the back of the leg.
Oh, nice inside move there to stay out of the wreck and then tag the tube, unfortunately.
So Dylan running back-to-back. He hangs the Nitro car up, heads right back up with the electric car. And it looks like we'll see where he's at when he comes around here this time by. Michael Forrest going to be out front early on here with an early 29.4. Nicholas Logan. There's Dylan up in the number 3 spot. Dylan looking for a double TQ here in round 2. We'll see if we can do it in the electric class. Ken, you can see the dust on the track really starting to pick up. And these guys losing traction heading into the corners.
As I mentioned to you when I came back in, I mean, the sun full out right now. I mean, it is hammering hard, so it's going to dry up very quickly. It's going to change very quickly. Much like big car racing, the anticipation of what the track is going to do is what the really good guys are able to do, so they can anticipate what setup they need in that car to be fast towards the end. It is definitely blowing off here very, very quickly, so no question. And I think about the time between races now, as you talked about running a couple of different categories, a couple of different classes. These guys have to have these cars ready to rip immediately if they're going to run a back-to-back race here, or very close to a back-to-back race. So they're not going to have much time here in this accelerated format on the back half of today. We have to be done by 5 o'clock. That is Central Time, by the way, because the off-road races start here out of this same truck. So it is a hard out here at 5 o'clock, but they're going to try to get everything done. If we do miss something for some reason, they'll tag it on to tomorrow. We'll get it all in.
Yeah, and I'd be curious to know, watching Dylan Bontrager right now, he is out front leading the way. He was in that last race with his nitro car. Now he had to flip over to the e-buggy. There's a very short window there. I'd be curious to know if in between that time, did he change tires on his e-buggy? Did he pick up anything from the nitro car that he wanted to change on the e-buggy before he got out there in this one? But looks like whatever he did or whatever he didn't do has got it handled, as he is out front leading once again, the only driver to get down the 28-second lap range. 28.6 for Dylan right now. He's on an 11-lap run at a 5-minute, 23-second pace.
Oh. Up and over in that car, in that particular case, just did not fly necessarily properly. Typically, you see him fly nice and level, but that one was nose high. That step down that we keep talking about.
Only a minute 45 left to go here in this one for these drivers. It's Bontrager, Logan, Forrest, Callies, and Sosing, your top 5. Johnson, Crane, Bell, Parker, Burnham, Womack, and Robeson. Oh, trouble there. I thought that was your race leader. That was not.
Yeah, that corner is really rutted up there a bit and getting rougher by the minute, it seems to be, so something they'll have to pay attention to. I've seen that happen a couple times. It just seemed to me like they were a lane wider. He was pretty much in the race groove and kind of bit him.
I've noticed a few spots on the track. Really, the only damage that looks like that the rain really did is maybe where the track crew had to step out on the track and basically left footprints and
oh, interesting. Yes.
Pulled dirt up, and may have been a small hole at first, but once the cars start hitting it and stuff, it starts chunking out, and that's the only major difference that I'm really noticing from the rainstorm earlier today.
When they talked about sweeping the track, and that's what they did, they broomed out some of those puddles. I almost wondered if the broom would kind of groom the track to some degree, maybe smooth out some of those ruts, but certainly did not think about the footprints where they were squishing down in there. You'll start in the middle and work your way backwards, right?
So Bontrager right now, he is out on a good pace here in this one. As you mentioned, coming off the drop-off, he's got a fantastic line is set up on point there, as he is out front right now by 7 seconds over Nicholas Logan in second. John Callie's in number 3 spot. Bontrager, fast lap of the race at 28.6. Only driver on 11-lap run here in this one as well.
Yeah, it's starting to show some real consistency, of course, as you talked about before, with near back-to-back sessions here. He can dial this thing in just a little bit, but really watching his line, I mean, he's very consistent. There's a couple of areas where I see the pros that stay hard on the throttle, and it seems like he breathes it just a little bit. Nice rotation right here, but coming through there, right there, he breathes it just a little bit. That might have been where he got up on the bike there before as well, but the pros are coming through that left-hander on the pipe.
As he makes his way back around, looks like time has expired. This is going to be his final time around. Nicholas Logan going to be taking second. John Caley's taking third. Dylan on his victory lap right now. He's going to be the only driver to get 11 laps. So double TQ, top qualifier in our Sportsman Nitro division and top qualifier in our Sportsman E-Buggy division. Back-to-back for him right here in round number 2. Fantastic round there for Dylan Bontrager.
That is awesome. Look at pit road there once again.
Sosing will finish in 5, Brian Johnson 6, Jeff Crane in 7. I need those 7 drivers
Qualifying results here, courtesy of MAO Racing, with Dylan Bontrager up there, up top. Nicholas Logan, John Callies, Michael Forrest, and Francis Sosine, all there inside of the top 5. Dylan doing a great job, as you talked about, qualifying number 1 in both sportsman divisions. So really good effort there.
I noticed Francis, he's keeping busy this weekend as well, not only on the racetrack, but he's walking around with a camera taking some pretty cool pictures he's been posting on Facebook of some of these guys as well. So.
Oh, I missed that one earlier. That was a great replay. Not great for those two
guys,
but it was
great,
very
great
entertaining to watch. That looked like me driving that one over there. So good stuff out here. Talented RC racers for sure, even in our sportsman division. And, of course, it's only going to get better and faster from there. A lot of great racing yet to come here at our 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road. Cool-looking car. Spoke with Dakota a little bit about the rear wing. I was looking at his rear wing on his car, and he actually has that rear plate, that rear sill, if you will. He actually has some holes drilled in his. I want to say 6, a couple of big ones on either side, a small one in the middle. And it's an option that he can plug that hole if he decides he wants to plug the hole, or he can leave them open. Of course, it's going to have less drag down the straightaway at speed. Said it really affects the car in terms of how it flies. Makes a big difference. There's 4 sill plates. There's 2 in the center. There's 2, obviously, the outside sill plates as well, which will help it turn a little bit. So the wings are definitely a part of the game.
Well, it looks like we are traveling in the reverse direction. We jumped to race number 3. Now we're going back to race number 2. So Dylan, we've got one more heat of Sportsman E-Buggy. So Dylan was the winner of that heat in the current top qualifier. However, we got one more heat, it looks like, to go. See if anybody can, out of this one, can be any faster than Dylan to set the overall top qualifying time.
Gotcha. So in the Sportsman Nitro, we just had the 1 heat race. And the Sportsman E, we have enough cars for 2 heat races.
Yep.
I'm easily confused, so I just want to confirm.
Well, it was a little confusing there because we actually went from race 1 to race 3 back to race 2.
Yeah, they're testing me.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's why they put you beside me.
Yeah, I'm not sure why we did that, but, we'll go with it. So we're back to race 2 now, and then I believe after this we'll jump to race 4. So,
and based on that theory, we'll eventually get back to race 1.
That's right.
So the warm-up session has started here. We are under 2 minutes. And then, of course, we'll have a 5-minute qualifying session here for this heat. Give them a chance to work the rust off, get back out here and get going. Love the name Boomer Wheelers. You get any better than that?
These guys getting checked in here. Ian Morey, Jason Morey, the father-son combo. Frank Columbia, Taylor Janda. I do believe Taylor Janda was our winner from last year. And I can't remember if it was the Sportsman Nitro Buggy or the E-Buggy class, but I know he won one of them. So good to see him back this year. Jake Goodlett, Justin Turner, Boomer Wheeler, Peyton Lamb, Brad Langley, Steve Collins, and Bucky Bachman.
Good memory there, my friend. As we watch him wind this one up, under a minute now in this warm-up session. And still watching that left-hander there that has a few ruts in it. And it's almost, the pros are going to take a look at it. So you can run the traditional line, which would be to apex it right in the center there and carry some good speed out. But it almost looks to me like if you open up the entry a little bit and late apex it just a tick, you can get underneath those ruts and stay on some smooth track. Easy to see and easy to say.
Not as easy to do.
Yeah, because, we're talking about car placement here of a few inches, right? And that's what they're good at doing. Hey, there's a demo track. They're going to have their own race over there.
I was going to say, this is the racers that
great.
we really want to see. The demo track over there at the A-Main Hobbies and HPI Racing Tent, our title sponsors here this weekend.
How about the checkerboard socks? That's pretty cool.
That's 2 tenths faster.
Confuse everybody at the finish line.
All right, looks like we are back on the big track now, off and running here for Sportsman E-Buggy.
Yeah, it's for real now. The warm-up is over. Clock is ticking. Ooh, just barely made it over that jump. Nice pass there. Outside in, and now some clean track, and unfortunately tags the tube and ends up inverted. There's that left-hander I was talking about. You can see how rough it is on the outside. If you can go out and rotate the car a little bit early and chop right down on the bottom of the tube, it'll kind of lengthen that straightaway and carry some good speed. Something the pros will be looking at for sure. These guys are just trying to get around and stay out of trouble.
Well, and Boomer Wheeler, he's wheeling it right now out front, 10 at a 5:02. Not quite as fast as Dylan Bontrager's earlier top qualifying time, but he is out front. Peyton Lamb in that number 2 spot. Brad Langley in the number 3 spot. Now Peyton up into the number 1 spot.
Boomer Wheeler jumps up into the number 1 slot as everybody's taking a crack at it here once they come across the stripe. Also impressive as you watch the sportsmen go out there and they'll blip that throttle and clear some of those jumps, and they actually sail the car too far. You have to immediately get it slowed down to come back to make a turn left or right. Something else that the pros seem to be very, very good at is that proper speed. Go over the jump, get the car back on the ground, and get it rotated in. We're going to go back and show you a replay here, I believe. Our Visions instant replay.
And coming in here, whoa, look at this. Quite the maneuver, a little bat spin there, Batmobile spin.
And these are all-wheel drive cars, correct?
That is correct, yes. These
So I didn't see any dirt coming off the front end of that one. I almost wondered if it spun out because I maybe lost front-wheel drive, but not always able to see that. Certainly with, oh man, there's a couple of pretty good tumbles right there. Certainly that's something, the first thing that comes to mind was, say, a short course Pro 4 truck is if you see one spin out, they typically, for the most part, have lost front wheel drive, and a lot of that is weight bias on the truck as well, so not necessarily the case here.
Well, I believe that is, if I'm not mistaken, that's Boomer Wheeler that we're following, and Boomer's going to do it again. Boomer just likes freestyling in that corner is what's happening.
You get bonus points, style points.
Boomer coming through the infield right now. Ian Morey in the number 2 spot. Brad Langley in that 3 spot. And now it's changing up a bit. Frank Columbia up in the number 3 spot.
Wheeler at a 10, 5.06.3. So he is the guy to beat right now. Langley right behind him at a 10.517, some 10 seconds back. That's not to say things can't change here quickly. I mean, one bobble out of Dylan, and it can change up pretty quickly.
And here they come. Minute 30 left to go here in this one. Bontrager in that last heat set the 11-lap pace. I'm going to say that's probably a pretty safe time. He's probably going to be sitting top qualifier here for our second round. Nobody in this one is. Yeah,
that's a great point.
Nobody's quite close to that 11-lapper. He'd have
including
to make
himself.
About right? Yes.
Can't even bump himself out. But yeah, that would be a lot to make up there for Langley.
1 minute left to go here in this one. Boomer Wheeler out front, 10 at a 5:05. Ooh, that was close.
A little drifting contest there in the middle.
Ooh. Talk about putting the pressure on.
It is entertaining to watch them. And I'm not laughing at them. I promise you. I'm laughing because I know I couldn't even come close, right? So it doesn't surprise me that they get as close as they do to each other. The fact that they don't crash is simply amazing.
Well, here they come down the front stretch onto the right-hand side. I believe that's going to be Steve Collins, if I'm not mistaken. Off the drop away he goes. Oh, that may be Jason Morey. 20 seconds left in this one.
Wheeler still up front. Having another great session here. Langley has closed the gap just a little bit, closed it by a couple of seconds. But Boomer has not made a mistake yet. And clock has hit triple zeros.
As he crossed the line, he is going to finish up there with a 10 at a 5:07 for Boomer. So it looks like Dylan Bontrager is going to hold on to that top qualifying spot at 11 at a 5:22 overall for the round. Brad Langley coming around here, along with Taylor Janda and Jason Morey.
Did what he had to do to secure it either way it goes, right? One way or the other, he was going to try to hang up in there. Boomer Wheeler bringing the heat, just not quite enough. And some smoke out of those cars would indicate some nitro action coming up next as we take a look at our MAO Racing qualifying results.
Yeah, it looks like Boomer Wheeler going to take that one. Brad Langley second, Taylor Janda third, Jason Morey fourth, Frank Columbia fifth, Bachman, Collins, Lamb, Turner, and Goodlett rounding out your top 10 there from that one. Ian Morey rounding out in the 11th spot, Matt Gilbert in the 12th spot. And it looks like coming up next is going to be our open nitro buggy division. These drivers are going to be fighting for that spot up into the invite class. See Caden Fuller's HB Racing buggy on the left side there, the TLR to the right of Braxton Culley. Just past him, the Kyosho of Spencer Klein.
And once again, Scotty Ernst busy down there. Had that microphone working perfectly. Scotty, who do you have?
All right, thank you very much, guys. We are here at the A-Main Hobbies HPI Racing Tri-Me Track. Chance for everybody to try their hand at a little bit of RC. We're here with Troy from A-Main Hobbies. And Troy, this is your second time doing this. You're back with a vengeance and just putting on a great show.
Oh, thank you so much, Scotty, and thank you for everybody coming out. This is such a great event. We love to be here.
You guys brought the HPI Racing products here. You got a plethora here of rally cars and monster trucks and things like that, and a bunch of kids throughout the last couple of days been coming over here trying them.
Absolutely. We're so thrilled that HPI Racing came on board with us and provided us with so many RTR kits of all types. We're on the Tri-Me track here, the A-Main Hobbies HPI Racing Tri-Me track. We're running their jump shot line, so we've got stadium trucks, monster trucks, and short course trucks that the kids are getting to run. And then we're showcasing all their different on-road cars, and they have a great line of cars, and we're happy to be partnered with them.
And I see a lot of signs here, win this car. There's been kids and big kids, too, coming up, signing up to a chance to win some of these.
Absolutely. Kids of all ages trying the cars, and then you get a chance to win a car. We're giving away 4 giveaway cars in the next 2 days, so 2 today and 2 tomorrow, and some great stuff. Some Savage, upgraded short course truck, one of their Vorzas, and one of their stadium trucks. So really excited. That's coming up here in about 30 minutes, the first of 2 drawings today.
When I see the kids racing and driving around the Tri-Me track here, and the parents on the sidelines looking at them, what do you say to the parents when they have questions and things?
Well, they are asking a lot of questions, and we've got a great team here with Chris Boyd and Mike Lee and myself, just talking to all the customers, just trying to. There's so many people that maybe they have an RC car. Most of them don't have an RC car. They just showing some interest. They're here for the full scale racing. They come over, and sometimes the kids hit the transmitter button and go in reverse. The cars are kind of going everywhere, but we take our time with them. We show them the basics, and after they come back time 2, time 3, time 4, they really get it. Now we're running heat races, and kids are winning some A-Main t-shirts for little 3-lap dashes. So we just spend time with them. And then, of course, we tell mom and dad where they can get all their cars at A-Main Hobbies. And we've got some great coupon codes for them here. So it's just been a lot of fun.
Well, that's awesome. We appreciate you doing it. It definitely adds to the vibe here at Visions. There's lots of racing, but there's also downtime. So the families come over here, hang out, run a few of the HPI racing cars, and have a good time.
Absolutely. We've been slammed here, but it's been so much fun. It's been great.
Well, we appreciate it. And again, tell the folks where they can find more information and where can they buy these.
Well, at amainhobbies.com, we do carry the entire HPI racing line, but of course all cars and all parts and everything you need RC can be found at amainhobbies.com. But we're working with HPI this weekend, so you can check out their line right at A-Main Hobbies.
Awesome. Well, we thank you again for your time and giving something back to the youth here.
Thank you very much, Scotty. Thanks for coming out.
My pleasure. Thank you. So there you go. From the Tri-Me track here, racing some HPI vehicles, having some fun about all the things that A-Main Hobbies has to offer. Visions is a different kind of event. It's a unique vibe. Full-scale racing, RC racing. You can find it all here at Visions. Hope you put it on your calendar to join us sometime here in the future.
Somebody keep an eye on Scotty. I bet he hangs out over there and drives one of those cars for a little bit. We thank A-Main Hobbies and HPI Racing. Appreciate all of their support, and very cool for them to come out of here with that display and share some information about this sport that we love dearly. And here we go, warm-up laps here for this 6-minute session that is coming up, the Open Nitro Buggy Heat Race number 2. We believe there's enough cars out here to have a couple of heat races, so the overall winner here will have an opportunity to bump up, much like Camden Line did a little bit earlier today.
Well, a little known fact for a lot of people about Scotty Ernst. Not only is Scotty known for his announcing and his events and stuff that he puts on within the RC industry over the years around the world, Scotty is a pretty dang good racer as well, and he's got some accomplishments to his name, especially in the on-road world. Does a lot of on-road racing, does a lot of short course racing, so I wouldn't be surprised if Scotty hung out over there for a few minutes.
Handed out a few lessons.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Good for him, man. That's great. I love it.
These guys warming up, as Ken said, taking the laps here. Open Nitro Buggy, 2 heats here of Open Nitro Buggy. The fastest qualifier out of those 2 heats will be going on to the Invitational class. So these drivers are fighting for their spot.
Come back in and top off the tanks here and get ready for the 6-minute session. Brewer, Cully, Dill, Everett, Fuller, Gibbons, Heckert, Hill, Vigil, Klein, Mechanic, Martin, and Parker all ready to do battle here in this 6-minute Q2.
Yeah, and I got a feeling Heckert's going to be one you're going to keep an eye on here in this one. Ethan Mechanic was up front. Braxton Coley, Caden Fuller, of course. This is going to be a good one here for these drivers. Our first heat of Open Nitro Buggy as we are off and underway.
See those things, man, when they hit the throttle, they absolutely launch. 0.21 cubic inches make somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.8 to 3 horsepower. 32 grams or about 7 pounds. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 miles per hour as they run out here and really carry some speed. Those engines turning some 44,000 RPM. That is buzzing up.
One lap into it here. We're looking at Caden Fuller. Fuller going to be out front early on at 27.7 right out of the gate for him, lap number 1. Spencer Klein, the Kyosho driver, in that number 2 spot. Braxton Coley in the 3 spot. Jacob Vigil and Garrett Martin rounding out your top 5.
And we talked about how good that track was this morning. We had overcast, track was tacky, had some good grip, and we saw 26-second lap times. Now with the sun out, the dust coming up here just a little bit, clearly has dried up a bit, but the speed not necessarily in this track, but everybody's racing on the same surface, so go out there and make hay, man.
Yeah, you're right. I definitely think, and they're doing a little less maintenance in between each race and each round, I think, trying to get these races clicked off in time before our shutdown time here today. So I think we're going to see the lap times probably drop off a bit. The track may come around a bit on the main line, but if you step out of that main line, the dust and the loose dirt is definitely going to slow you down.
Caden Fuller, the only one in the 14-lap zone, 14 in a 6:26, and then Spencer Heckett back behind him at 13, 6 flat. So Fuller putting together a great session here so far.
Yeah, Fuller right now, we saw him. He had an impressive run up there with Camden Lime in round 1, as well as Brandon Rose. We'll see Brandon Rose coming up in the next race. Right now, Caden Fuller trying to put the fastest lap down that he can, fastest pace down, I should say, for the entire race that he can.
Oh, Caden and his brother Mason had a great battle 1 year ago. Mason making it up into the show. Mason, one of the invites here this year.
Mason, one of those drivers that off the track he's a bit quiet, but on the track he's making some noise here this year. Really moving up and running with some of the big dogs at not just this event this weekend, but previous events as well.
Got a respectful finish there at 8th overall 1 year ago, so right in mid-pack with the big dogs. Very respectful effort for sure. Caden Fuller there, as you can see the pace up there at the top, that 14:6:25. And the clock ticking down here as well. We keep an eye on it, about 3 minutes left to go.
Fuller going to be working his way into a little bit of traffic here. We'll see if they can work it out. Going to try to cut back to the inside. As we talked about earlier, too, this track, tenths of a second can actually make a difference on this racetrack, and it's hard to make that back up. So when these guys have to slow down just a little bit to wait on traffic to get out of the way or find a good line around them, it can really be a detriment to your overall pace.
Seen some great passes being made here as well. If you run one lane high and somebody has a good run, good control over that car, they're going to drive right down underneath you. They'll make you pay. Oh. Yeah, somebody up and over the tube. Kept it on all fours.
Well, there's Spencer Heckert in that number 2 spot in the red, white, and blue. On the right-hand side of the track, he's coming up on some traffic here.
Ooh. Outside in.
Good move
job,
Spencer.
Yeah, great job. Yeah, and as you talked about before, wow, look at these guys, man. I mean, they are ripping. Beautiful stuff. This track's starting to blow off. It's changing every single lap, getting a little rougher as it goes, but everybody dealing with the same situation. That's that line that I was talking about right there that Fuller just used. Went outside, opened up the entry of that left-hander, rotated the car, and shot right across the very bottom and able to stay on the throttle all the way through there.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be working for him as he's out to a 3.5-second lead right now. He's on a 14-lap run at a 6-minute, 26-second pace. Spencer Heckert on a 13.604, 4 seconds off that 14-lap run. Spencer Klein up at the number 3 spot, Mechanic in the 4 spot, Braxton Cully in the 5, Shelby Parker up into that number 6 spot.
Yeah, good stuff. And keep in mind, it's not going to be the winner of this heat. It's not necessarily the one that's going to bump in. We have enough cars here to have another heat here for Q2.
So if you remember, in round number 1, Camden Lime was in that first heat race, and he set the time, and then he had to wait the forever long 6 minutes of the next one.
What feels like a lifetime.
Yes.
And then they wrote him a nice check for $1,000. Just power slide that thing up in there. That was nice. A lot of momentum up in there. Car slid right into the preferred line, back in the throttle. Rotating pretty nicely there in the tight stuff. Again, hugs the inside of that left-hander. It's gnarly on the outside. Step down is so violent. So many people having trouble with that. Car looked pretty calm sitting down through there. Nice setup there for the right-hander. Again, chop it off. See it right down towards the bottom. Maybe a tick high right there, but really, really nice job, man.
Well, time is going to expire here. Caden Fuller, I should say, he's going to go one more lap. This should be his final lap right here. He is going to get the 14-lap run, so set a pretty strong qualifying time with only one heat left of open nitro buggy to go.
Yeah, so he's going to have to wait that 6 minutes now as well, but with the only one in the 14-lap zone, he's got to feel at least comfortable that if somebody's going to come out there and beat him, they better have a really good session.
Yep. Here he comes back around, and Caden Fuller finishing up there with a 14-lap run, 6 minutes, 26 seconds. He is currently your top qualifier with one more heat to go. Looks like Spencer Klein jumping up into the number 2 spot, so a good run there for Spencer.
Yeah, and Spencer Heckett just behind him. Those two actually really close there on the 13.606.0 and a 13.608.0. So just separated by a couple of seconds there throughout that entire session as we take a look at our MAO Racing qualifying results here for this particular heat race.
Yeah, Caden Fuller taking it, Spencer Klein, Spencer Heckert third, Ethan Mechanic, and Braxton Cully, TLR driver, rounding out your top 5, followed by Parker, Givens, Hill, Everett, and Martin.
And once again, Scotty Ernst busy down there. This time he is with our winner, Caden Fuller. And Scotty, he's going to have to hang on as well for another 6 minutes.
All right, thank you, guys. We're here with Caden Fuller after that run. Caden, that's the first step here. Now you got to hope you were faster than these guys. Take us through that run.
Yeah, I was just trying to be smooth and consistent, stay fast, and hopefully my time holds up for this round.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. 14, I think, in the 26. So that's pretty close to what Camden ran in the last round. How much is the track different from before the rain till after?
It's not much different. Same pace, I'd say. So, yeah.
All right, now you got a long wait here to see if your time holds. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, there you go. All right, Mr. Fuller here doing what he needs to do to try to get that bump to the invite. We'll find out in a few minutes if his time's going to hold. Back to you, Ken and Mike.
And, of course, if he can bump in, he'll get to take on his brother.
And he's guaranteed if he bumps in $1,000.
Right.
His brother doesn't have any money in his pocket just yet. So
so he's winning already.
That's right. That's right.
A lot more up for grabs, though, for sure. Get a little highlights reel. So we're going to take a quick break here one more time. We've got a lot of great racing action coming your way. Can't wait for it as well. Take care of our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Amsoil runs on freedom and has since 1972. We punish our products firsthand in our world-class laboratories and beyond, because some things can't be learned from a test tube. Run with us.
Ready for any challenge. Maxxis tires can handle even the most punishing off-road conditions. Maxxis tires. Tread victoriously.
Speed Sport has been America's motorsports authority since 1934. Get news, results, and commentary from the most connected experts in the business, covering all forms of motorsports from flat track to NASCAR and everything in between. Bookmark speedsport.com on your mobile device now, or follow Speed Sport on social, and be sure to subscribe to the Speed Sport Daily. Speed Sport is your one-stop shop for all things racing on 2 wheels and 4.
And welcome back to the 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Ken Stout here, Mike Garrison City right alongside. We're here at Mid-America Outdoors, Jay, Oklahoma, just a little bit outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma. 1,600-acre complex here. A little bit of something for everybody. The Ultra 4s, if you were watching during the rain delay, are out there getting it done as well. Travis Pastrana here with the Nitro Rally cars. Of course, we are here. Short course off-road racing is here. There is a lot going on, my friend.
A lot is an understatement, that's for sure. This is a fantastic facility. As you've said, the Robinette family has put together just an incredible place for off-road enthusiasts, whether you're racing, just wanting to hang out for a cool weekend, RC racing, all the way up to, as you said, freestyle jet skis. There's everything going on here.
Lazy River here.
Yeah, you got a whole resort basically up here. You got a restaurant on site.
Yeah, for sure. So huge pool area and a lazy river, and there you go, and some instructions. Drop it.
Katie saying, put that car
Put
down.
that thing on the ground. Let me go. Good stuff. So we're good. Miss Brittany, you can climb back up in the chair. It's all good.
Open Nitro Buggy, our second heat here. So Caden Fuller, he set the pace in that last heat with a 14.626. If nobody beats that time, that means Caden Fuller is getting a $1,000 check and going to the invite class. If somebody can beat that time, if it's only one person that beats that time, I should say, that person's getting a $1,000 check and going to the invite class. The one to keep an eye on, I think, in this one is going to be Brandon Rhodes. Brandon was up there running for the spot with Camden Lime in the last round of qualifying. Had some misfortunate events happen, flamed out, wasn't able to finish the race, dropped him back into the 4th, 5th place spot. I think he's going to be the one to watch here.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. There is Brandon Rose there, second to the right, if you will, standing right alongside Reggie Tung. And had a chance to speak with Reggie a little bit. I said, will you make any changes between, the track that you were on a little bit earlier and the track that you're going to be on? And the only thing he was going to do was make a shock oil change. He said he felt like he was going to go to a little thinner oil. He felt like the car was just a tick lazy in terms of responsiveness, so he wanted it to respond just a little bit quicker in the turns and was going to go to a little thinner oil to accomplish that goal.
Well, that's another point that you make and talk about oils and stuff. As the sun comes out, everything heats up. These guys are going to be changing their shock oils and dip oils from where they were this morning, most likely. As this morning it was cool out, everything was, the track was tacky. We had more traction. Now we have less traction. The sun is hot. So everything's changing for these guys. A lot on their plate in a short amount of time.
Had a chance, too, to talk to Dakota Finn, if you're wondering how adjustable these cars are. I was talking to him about dampers and, can they rebuild them? Can they adjust them inside? And they're not like what I would call a typical short course off-road shock where there's a shim stack inside of that the oil blows past. In these shocks, they do have holes, and they're allowed to, you can get just a blank shaft and custom drill your own holes and get it the way you want to. Some of the shocks some of the damper pistons have some flaps on them that will allow the oil to blow through that way. So it's an infinite setup there in terms of damper setup. But again, so critical to the speed. You've got to keep the tires on the ground, right? And that's how you create the speed. But that is much easier said than done. And of course, there's a lot of different ways to skin that cat. It's an important piece of the puzzle if you're going to compete with these guys.
Well, one driver that comes to mind when you say that is Jared Wiggins. We call him the Wizard. He is notorious for drilling his own shock pistons and having his suspension absolutely fine-tuned. So absolutely one of those things that you could adjust around the clock.
So I think we have to talk about Brandon Rose. You talked about the time to beat. You can see it up on the board, ladies and gentlemen. 14.626.9. Brandon Rose at a 14.627.2. We are talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of about a second, 1.3 seconds here. If Brandon Rose can pick up the pace, it is very, very close.
Yeah, Brandon headed on the right-hand side there. The S-Works driver in the green and white. His biggest obstacle right now is going to be traffic, I think, and that worked out well for him as he makes his way through. Clean track now for him. Reggie Tung up at the number 2 spot. Santos Rodriguez in the number 3 spot. Katie Roxbury in the 4. Barry Rowe in the 5. Brandon looking smooth and comfortable right now.
Yeah, and he did the same thing. You talked about it before in the previous session. Camden Lime, up on the bike, but manages to stay on the throttle and continue on. Camden, his teammate, so he did have something good to go off of, and you see him dig that edge, and it upset the car. So a good quick reaction is going to cost him a little bit of time. He's going to have to keep scrapping here if he's going to jump into this fray, but right now would take over the invite at a 14.625.
Pressure is on for Brandon Rose right now, and he's got to know it. He's only got 2 minutes and 10 seconds left to go. But
is that all?
Yeah, I was going to say, he's feeling it. That's going to be the longest 2 minutes and 10 seconds. It's actually the same amount of time for him and for Caden waiting up there to see, is he going to get beat or not? It's going to feel
that's
feel
4
like
laps, maybe 5 laps, somewhere in that general area. So plenty of time for a mistake, no question.
Brandon working his way down the front stretch now.
Nice.
We'll see what he's got this time by through the rough first turn. 14.625.
Oh, really nice right there. Beautiful setup there, and kind of factoring in that rebound, if you will. You've seen a number of people be able to do that.
Oh!
Man, did he get lucky right there. I mean, I know it cost him some time, but did he get lucky right there as it ended up facing in the right direction? Still at a 14.626.3. The time to beat 626.9.
Wow. I tell you what, Brandon Rose right now, he's got to keep that thing on all fours and stay out of situations like that, because just a few tenths of a second, that is all he's got over Caden Fuller.
1 minute. Great qualifying effort here. $1,000 on the line, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Rose trying to steal it away.
Well, and here we're following Reggie Tung in that number 2 spot. He's going to be 13 seconds back from Brandon Rose on the clock. Reggie Tungus, we talked about early on. You may have heard that name. Former safety, NFL safety for the Kansas City Chiefs, among several other teams. But we're just going to Kansas City Chiefs all day.
It's getting even closer. Now it's a 26.6. 0.3 of a second is the difference for the invite. 20 seconds left to go here for Brandon Rose. He's got to keep his composure. He actually spread it out a little bit. 26.4 now. A little bit of breathing room. He's going to have to rip around about one more lap. Well, actually, the clock ticking down up there on the top left-hand side as it goes to zeros right here.
He's going to go, I think, one more after this one for that 14-lap run. He's going one more. This is going to be his final lap. It's all coming down to this one. 14 at a 6:26.3 is his pace right now.
Pressure is on. A car crashes right in front of him. And this is that 6:26, the 26th part of that, right? I mean, he's got to complete that one extra lap.
He is pushing so hard. Oh, no! He's run out of fuel. He has run out of fuel. The car is flamed out.
Oh, my
Disaster
goodness.
has struck Brandon Rose again.
Oh.
Unbelievable.
And we heard about that. Ryan Mayfield said it early on. They are on throttle. There goes Brandon, unfortunately. I'm sure dejected. But he talked about making it to the end. He thought fuel mileage would be an issue because the track is so fast. They're wide open throttle for so long.
Wow.
It's showing him at a 14.626.3.
I believe that was his estimated pace. So
No, there it is right there. Just adjusted. 13.558. Oh. Wow. I mean, right there, close. And, yeah, he'll have one more crack at it. But, boy, he had it done.
He's definitely got the speed to do it, that's for sure. A heartbreak there for Brandon Rose.
On the other side, Caden Fuller's like, yeah, well, I'm all good with this.
Yes.
I don't know what you guys are so bummed out about.
Oh, boy. Wow. What a turn of events right there. There you see Joey Christensen filling out that $1,000 check for Caden Fuller. Joey Christensen is not only an artist with dirt as far as building tracks, he is actually an artist outside of that as well.
Yeah, I noticed that before. I said nice handwriting,
Yes,
right? I wasn't
yeah.
kidding you. It's very creative, clearly. So, beautiful job there. Yeah, filling that out. So, congratulations to Caden Fuller. He did a great job. Definitely put the pressure on and forced Brandon Rose to stay in the throttle there right to the very end. And, of course, came up just a bit with a bit more time than what he was looking for. Scotty, what do you got, buddy?
All right, we are here with Caden, and man, oh man, you and I are sitting here watching Brandon from behind him here. Man, that is just tough luck. And a win's a win, but you don't wish that on anybody.
Yeah, I hate to win like that, but it was going to be close. But like, Brandon had a flame out at the end, which sucks, but I got the win, I guess.
Exactly. So, hey, you got to bump up to the invite. Now you got a chance for some big money along with the $1,000. Here we got Joey Christensen here from the dirt. Going to issue you a check for $1,000. Now, is this going to mom and dad at all, or is this going to your pocket?
Nah, I'm going to keep it for sure.
Oh, boom. There you go. Sorry about that, mom and dad. Well, best of luck. I know you got some work to do. Good luck in the invite.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Caden taking a win. Well done there. Well earned. Little luck on his side. So Caden winning $1,000 here at Vision. Bump it up to the invite. Back to you, Ken and Mike.
Thanks a lot, Scott. He didn't seem to be too excited there until he said, are you going to give that to mom and dad? He said, no, I'm keeping it for sure.
That's right.
Finally, a little bit of motion there. Yeah, no, I'm not giving that away. Good stuff, man. Congratulations to him on a great job. A little bit of highlights here from that last session, of course, for your enjoyment. And then we'll take a quick break here, and we'll be back with plenty more action from Mid-America Outdoors and the 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road.
AMSOIL runs on freedom and has since 1972. The rest of the market has been trying to follow our lead ever since. But a head start is a head start. Run with us.
Always my love. I am searching high, I'm searching low in the night. Ooh, does she know that we bleed the same? Ooh, don't wanna cry.
Get it, boys.
And once again, welcome back to the 2023 RC Racing's at Visions Off-Road. Plenty of action yet to go here today, and of course we will finish things up tomorrow. Our 3A mains. There's a look at Brandon Rose, who unfortunately ran out of fuel, we believe, flamed out right there at the very end. Had a quick enough time going to bump in to the invite, but missed it as he had about a quarter of a lap to go.
Yeah, I think most definitely in that third and final round of qualifying, I think we're going to see him come out swinging, that's for sure. And I think obviously he's got what it takes. He's been right up there both rounds. So let's hope for Brandon Rose he can make it happen in round number 3.
The benefactor of that was Caden Fuller, of course. So Camden Line and Caden Fuller, 2 of the 4 bump-ins so far into the invite. There's a look. I mean, he was just this close to the finish line, and that's where it flamed out. And boom, the effort was over. From a 14-lap average, was better by about 0.4 of a second. It was very, very close, but you've got to make it across the stripe, and that did not happen. Wow, he just made a pass right over the top of him. Looks like they did spray a little bit of water down here to control the dust just a bit. Warm-up laps here for Open E-Buggy. This will be heat race number 3 in Q2.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to run our Open E-Buggy class in a little reverse order. So this is technically race 8. I'm guessing after this we'll probably go to race 7, then 6, and then we'll go back to race number 9 for our invite class.
Caden, Trey, Jacob, and Tyler all checked in. 45 seconds till your loop is live.
These drivers all getting checked in here. And this we got Tyler Noon, Scott Brewer, Jacob Vigil, Josh Dill, Blake Everett, Trey Ford, Caden Fuller running back-to-back here. Spencer Hecker, Graham Hill. A few of those drivers on that list not here this weekend.
So 30 seconds, our next water is after all 3 E's.
So Adam Christensen asking a question about the 4 p.m. hard finish time. It was actually 5 p.m. is our hard out, and that is Central Time. So depending on where you're at there, Adam, hopefully that helps you out. But we have a little more than an hour here to get in a whole bunch of racing.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, these drivers getting ready to go. It looks like the tone is sounded. They are off and underway. They'll get on the clock this time around.
We have the reason we have a hard out for our fans there that are watching on is there is a short course off-road race that will take place here that starts as soon as we are finished up here. They have 3 pro classes yet to run. Their second race here for the weekend. In the side-by-side categories, it'll be Pro NA, then Pro Turbo, and then they'll have the Pro Light trucks out here to finish up their second race. So that is the reason behind the hard out, I should say. And if we don't get everything in here today, we will tag it on to tomorrow.
Oh,
Somebody
whoa.
tumbling the out. Big tumble.
That was close right there for Caden Fuller. We're following Caden around here for our first couple laps. Caden going to be leading us out here.
And by the way, Adam Christensen is in Australia.
Wow.
I'm not even going to come close to that time zone. I have no clue, man. So good stuff there. But thanks for watching, Adam. We appreciate you watching from down under. That's pretty cool.
One lap into this one, Caden Fuller going to be out front. Jacob Vigil up in the number 2 spot. Tyler Noon in the 3. Graham Hill, Spencer Heckert, and Trey Ford. Your early running order here in this one. That's Spencer Heckert we're taking a look at. We saw him earlier in the Nitro division as well in our open class. He was trying to make his way up into the invite.
All right, Caden Fuller, who just picked up a $1,000 check.
Yeah, big airtime right there.
Bumped up into invite. Out front leading the way.
Once again, open e-buggy here. Caden Fuller now up front here once again.
And Trey Ford, only 6 drivers in this one.
11 laps, 5 flat.
Oh, wow.
A little bit short there, right?
Came up a bit short and then somehow was able to whip the car around and save it. And I think he, trouble there. Anytime
you can see how rutted up that left-hander is. I mean, it's one of the worst turns. I don't want to say worst, just rough turns out here. And it is off-road, by the way, so you've got to deal with it.
It's definitely getting chewed up, and I think, whoa, that was close too. Man, I tell you what.
Crossing lanes off a jump is never good. I don't care what kind of vehicle you're in.
Spencer getting lucky there on that one. He's still going to be sitting in that number 2 spot. He is going to be 4 seconds back behind our race leader, Caden Fuller. Heckert onto the back side of the track he goes. Through the drop away. Caden Fuller, 26.9. They threw just a little bit of water down on the track, and sometimes that can make all the difference.
Yeah, first 26 we've seen since we've come back after the rain delay. Packing that thing in there just a little bit. Some of these guys, you can see them just kind of riding on top of the ruts, if you will. Again, damper package really critical in that scenario. Trying to keep the tires on the ground.
3:15 down, 1:45 remaining.
Back around onto the left-hand side. He goes back into the center now. Caden, one of the more animated drivers. You can see him anytime that car gets off the ground, he's going to throw a little wheel whip or something to get the car to do little style points in the air.
Confused me for a second. Animated drivers whenever you said that because he is certainly not animated during an interview. He's about as calm and collect as they come. But out there on the track, man, he is getting it done.
Yeah, watch right here as he comes around for this double. Just about every lap he throws a whip motocross style. There was a little one that time, but he's been throwing some big ones.
Having some fun, right? Cool, that's great. Style points again. Come up with a freestyle contest, he'd be right in the middle of that.
Absolutely. Heckert at that number 2 spot. Oh, trouble there. What a save.
Ends up on 4 and can continue on. But, yeah, big moment right there.
There you see that Spencer Heckert there on the left in the red S-Works shirt. Caden Fuller there in the HB Racing shirt.
And Caden Fuller still on a 12-lap, 5:26. So, again, he's going to have to survive that last lap. That 26 part of that is pretty much another full lap if he's going to reach that 12 mark. I say that, and now it has readjusted. So after that flip and was able to keep going, it's knocked him back down to an 11 lap, 5 flat.
He's going to come into some traffic here.
Made quick work of that.
Yeah.
You can just feel it, right? I mean, he's in a rhythm. You can feel it right there. Right here, this left-hander is tough, and it looked like he made a small adjustment right there to get through there.
Time's going to expire here. Caden Fuller on the bubble for a 12-lap run. He's on 11 at a 5 flat. It is going to be really close here. That is his time right there, and I don't think he's going to make it. I think he's going to have to settle for an 11-lapper. And it got him. He's done 11 at a 5 flat, .452. Going to be our early top qualifying time here for Open E-Buggy. 2 more heats to go after this one.
Spencer Heckert about 7 seconds behind there. Then Graham Hill, Tyler Noon, and Jacob Vigil as it stands right now. We'll see if anything changes here as they cross the stripe at the very end.
There's Graham and there's Trey going into the first berm. He's still racing. One more into the first berm there.
That is Open E-Buggy. Heat race 3 here in Q2, race number 8.
One more jump to go, one more corner.
And Mike believes we will go to race number 7. Clearly went to the same school.
I'm taking a wild guess here. There's your qualifying results from our first heat of Open E-Buggy here for round 2. Caden Fuller, your race winner. Spencer Heckard, second. Graham Hill taking third. Tyler Noon. Jacob Vigil taking fifth. Followed by Ford, Brewer, Dill, Everett, and Widzinski. Several of those drivers not actually out there or here this weekend, unfortunately.
And actually, we'll put Graham Hill at the 8 right next door to the 10. Then we just need 2 volunteers.
Another great setup there. So the driver's up there on that second level.
Volunteers at the 4 and 5.
Pit road down below.
Over on my left side here.
Crew members down there helping out.
Both over on the left if you're looking off the driver's stand.
As we documented before, a number of the racers that have raced will now go out onto the track and help out. And in the meantime, let's get it back over to Scotty Ernst. I'm guessing he is with our Caden Fuller once again.
All right, thank you very much, guys. We're down here at Brandon Rose. And, Brandon, this is not the interview again. I was hoping to do with you a bit more bad luck there at the last lap.
Yeah, it was a bummer. Had a good run going, and then with about 2 minutes to go, hit a lapper, broke the car. I think a front shock shaft or something. It was really hard to drive, but I was holding on to it. And then with 1 lap to go, or like 2 turns to go, I ran out of gas. And, yeah, I was pushing really hard because the car was kind of driving weird, and I guess it just bit me. So we'll try again in round 3.
Are you going to do anything to your fuel adjustment or anything like that to try to get a little more run time?
I may look at it and see if I can lean it out a little on top, but I think it's more was my driving that run. I was just pushing really hard and need to drive a little calmer, and it'll be good.
All right, best of luck, partner. You got one more.
Thanks.
All right, so Brandon, one of the favorites to bump up into the invite division. 2 rounds of bad luck, but, he's definitely can make it happen, so we'll see how it goes in round 3. Ken and Mike, back to you.
Yeah, and hopefully third time is the charm. We'll find out how things shake down for him because he has been in position twice. Once again, a bit of a highlights reel there from our last heat race. Tricky track there. A couple of tough corners for sure, but high-flying action. It has been fun to watch. A lot of racing yet to go here on Friday. Qualifying day here at 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road. We'll take a quick break. We'll see you here in just a couple of moments. And a quick commercial break. We are right back at it here thanks to A-Main Hobbies and HPI Racing. Welcome back to Mid-America Outdoors, Jay, Oklahoma, for the 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road.
Everybody getting checked in here. This is your Open E-Buggy class. Race number 7. Our second heat of Open E-Buggy. We saw Caden Fuller set the fast TQ time, top qualifying time, I should say, here for round number 2, that last race, 11 at a 5 flat .4. There you see Team Associated's Richard the King Saxton watching closely as his driver out on the track here.
That Chloe Fend, they're walking past him. .30 seconds left in this little warm-up session here before we start race number 7. Good call there, Mike. Open E-Buggy. Heat 2.
These drivers all getting set to go here, and as you can see, what little water they did lay down there before race number, the last race that we had, it is all gone. There is no moisture left on the surface except for a very few amount of spots. Oh, wow. Just launched it into a pack of cars.
Everybody parked there on the backside of that jump,
Yep.
and he just sailed it.
All right, Luca's live. Here we go. So 2 more races will be done with round.
All right, we are off and running here, and this one already trouble there. That may have been Camden Lime there with a little bit of trouble there right out of the gate. We'll see who comes around here for lap number 1 in our Open E-Buggy heat number 2. Time to beat Caden Fuller, 11 at a 5 flat .4 out of that last heat race.
Round 1
5-minute race here for these drivers.
Had a 12-lap session working there briefly. Had a 12.5.26 working, but had a moment there and ended up back at the 11. So the 12 is possible. A lot of traffic out there, though, right now.
Yeah, and these guys are going to have to work together just a little bit to make sure everybody gets a good run in. Looking at Camden Lime as he has worked his way through traffic. I think that was him right out of the gate there that did have some issues, so that's going to start him back a little ways in the field, so he's got some making up to do already. Ethan Mechanic going to be out front early on. Joshua Vigil in second, Braxton Culley third, Spencer Klein fourth. Garrett Martin rounding out your top five.
Oh, hooked a rut right there and launched him. Wow, I can't believe he ended up on all fours, but no doubt cost him a fair amount of time, and now he's going to deal with traffic again.
Camden pushing hard. Not quite the luck he had in he was laying it down in Nitro Buggy. He had a pretty smooth run whenever he moved up to the invite class, and then in that invite heat we saw him, he got in that 6th place spot. But E-Buggy's been a little bit rougher on him here this weekend. Still a lot of racing left to go, though.
Pretty gnarly hole right there. He went out and around it that time. But a couple of holes developing there in that left-hander.
Oh, more trouble there for him. Gets caught on the tube.
Wow.
Oh, gets all
Going
sorts
from
of
bad to
tangled up.
worse. So Ethan Mechanic now has jumped up into the number 1 slot. Just tuning mistakes there. Braxton Culley in the number 2 spot. About 6 seconds behind Mechanic. Ethan working on an 11.505.
This race winding down here in this one. Look at this whole pack of cars right here. Everybody right there together. This is the worst possible way you can get into qualifying, especially when you got an entire empty track on the other side. Braxton Culley, though, I believe, is clear on the backside of the track all by himself in that number 2 spot, so that may play a part into this one for him.
Great precursor to what we're going to see in a race, though.
Yes, absolutely. These guys are going to be nose to wing once our heads-up racing gets underway tomorrow for the main events here for these guys in the open classes. Of course, we've already seen that in our invite classes.
Reggie Tongue a little bit deeper down inside of this one on the number 6 slot. Garrett Martin 5th. Spencer Klein 4th as we stand right now. Joshua Vigil in 3rd. Braxton Culley still in 2nd. And Ethan Mechanic leading the group here, still on 11.504 now. A little bit quicker, as did and Joshua Vigil just jumped up into the P2 position, 11.508.
Yeah, looking at, I believe this could be Ethan Mechanic here coming around as he has made his way through the traffic. Time to beat still, that Caden Fuller, 11.5 flat. He's on 11.504 right now. I don't know, with 1:20 to go, Ethan is a very talented driver. I just don't know if there's time to make up on this track, a 4-second deficit there.
I mean, ripping off lap times in the 27-second range. So it's not like his pace is way off. I mean, it's just not a whole lot left to make up that time. Like you said, that's 4 seconds.
Yeah, he would need some hero laps for sure. He works his way onto the right-hand side of the track now. Braxton Culley still in the number 2 spot. Joshua Vigil in 3rd. Garrett Martin in the number 4 spot. And Spencer Klein rounding out your top 5 right now.
Yeah, last lap for Mechanic, 27.8, quick lap 27.3, so he's got about a half a second in that. He'd have to do that 4 laps in a row to make up that type of make up 2 seconds.
I tell you, the track is changing lap after lap for these guys. Any of the moisture that they had in the track there for the last heat is definitely gone here for this one. We've got one more heat to go after this, so they're going to get an even drier track, and that would be why we're running the weird order that we're doing. I'm going to say they're going to continue to water right before open e-buggy, and they're trying to give each group a fair shot at a prep track. So that's why this time we went 8.75 instead of, or 8.76, I should say, instead of 6.78.
Yeah, interesting thought process there. You're exactly right, and that's super cool to try and give everybody a fair chance here.
Ethan pushing hard right now. I believe that is going to be Spencer Klein right there in front of him. I think Spencer's in the 3rd place spot.
Mechanic on that 11.504, so should be done here.
Looks like he is finished up there. So Ethan Mechanic going to take this one 11 at a 5:04. Not enough for the top qualifier time, but enough to take this heat race win. Joshua Vigil second, Spencer Klein third. So Caden Fuller, one more heat to go for Open E-Buggy. Fuller is out front leading the way right now.
And a look at the results there for that second heat. Stacked up a bunch of cars here out here competing for sure, so congratulations to Ethan Mechanic. Nicely done, Joshua Vigil, jumping up into that second position late in that session. Spencer Klein Braxton was P2, fell down to fourth there right at the very end, and Garrett Martin inside of the top five. Camden Lime just really had a tough go of it. It went from bad to worse there for a moment. He was up at the top of the sheets and ended up in sixth. Reggie Tong in seventh.
And coming up here is going to be our final heat of Open E-Buggy. This is going to be a lot of our invite drivers. These are going to be the cream of the crop here as they get set to go. Some highlights there from our last heat race. As we're looking at Camden Lime, some of the struggles he had there.
When in doubt, throttle out. Get up after it. We'll cross thatch it. Not the fast way around here.
Ethan Mechanic, of course, as he works his way through. He was your heat race winner there. Made some beautiful passes to stay out of traffic.
Stay with us. Once again, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back on the other side. And once again, we welcome you back here to Jay, Oklahoma for the 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road, presented by A-Main Hobbies and HBI Racing. We also have presenting sponsors as well of Tekin BP Fuels, Team Associated, and Lifetime.
Well, coming up next, it's our Open E-Buggy, our final heat for round number 2, and these right here are our top drivers. A lot of these drivers we're going to see in the next race as well for the Invite Nitro class. We got Joe Bornhorst, Seth Van Dalen, Ty Tessman, Mason Fuller, Jared Wiggins, Adam Drake, Ryan Mayfield, Spencer Rivkin, Jared Tebow, Cole Ogden, Dakota Finn, the feet-long win, and Brandon Rhodes.
So knowing that you have a race immediately following this one as they take their warm-up laps here, about 45 seconds there left in that, would you bring your other car over? So, I mean, you're right there, boom, ready to go, right?
I would say so, and I'm going to venture to say they're going to have to give these guys just a minute or two in between these two races in case they are sharing anything between the two cars. Perhaps they want to change tires, something like that. These guys are pretty vocal when they need something, and they're pretty vocal when they want just a few minutes. And so I would venture to say we're probably going to have a few seconds in between this race and the next one. Of course, also we have to get our corner marshals out there as well, because normally these guys would come off the stand and go out to corner marshal for the next race. They're not going to be able to do that because they're in the next race. So one thing I can guarantee you about this one, though, Brandon Rose has had some tough luck, and he is not going to run out of fuel in this race. There we're looking at Joe Bornhorst. Joe Bornhorst, the S-Works driver, working his way around. There's Ryan Mayfield just ahead of him. Everybody is checked in.
Talked about Joe making his first appearance here at Visions. Of course, last year was the debut of this big event. And once again, if you're just joining us, $30,000 up for grabs, $5,000 if you can win it, another $5,000 if you can sweep it. Of course, $1,500 for every one of those that you win. So that would be another $4,500 there right in the middle if you win all three of the A mains come tomorrow. A lot of money up for grabs here, $30,000 total purse. So and some money going out to second, third, fourth place. So we wish everybody the best of luck out here, but the games have begun for sure.
Good look right there as this race gets underway. We're following Cole Ogden. We talked about a lot of drivers making changes, and as we mentioned earlier, Cole Ogden, the only change that he has made this year, moving into 2023, was he made a tire change, and he chopped his mullet off.
TZO 200 tires, the tire choice now for him.
Oh, no! Is that Brandon Rose? I just got done saying the only thing I can guarantee in this race, because it's electric buggy, is that Brandon Rose won't run out of fuel. I never thought that the body would fly off his car and he would be out like that.
Wow.
Wow. Brandon Rose.
Well, hopefully he can get rid of all the bad luck here. He's got one more shot at the nitro side.
Let's do it. Let's get rid of all of his bad luck in qualifying and save all the good luck for the mains. Wow. Tough break again for Brandon Rose.
So down the ramp he goes, and he'll get that nitro car ready to go. He'll have another crack at that bump in for sure, and has been right there with the players.
That was Ryan Mayfield.
I was just going to say, I think it was Ryan Mayfield that just went for the ride.
That was a weird mistake from Ryan Mayfield, too. Not one that you typically see him make. I don't know if he hit something on the takeoff of that double. What exactly?
You can see that hole right there. We talked about it before. It's just a different view there, a couple of different camera angles, and can make it look completely different. But the same hole, same turn, different look at it.
Well, 3 laps into this one, it's S-Works driver Joe Bornhorst out front leading the way here. Ty Tessman in the number 2 spot. Dakota Finn, now Mason Fuller up in the 3 spot. Dakota Finn in 4th and Jared Tebow in 5th. Time to beat again is 11 at a 5 flat, set by Caden Fuller. Joe Bornhorst right now is on a 12 at a 5:25. He is the only driver ahead of Caden Fuller's TQ time right now.
Yeah, needs to stay spot on. Still a lot of time left inside of this one at 2:25. So that 5:25, and I always refer to that now 5:26. That extra 26 seconds is that extra lap. So he's got to put together that extra lap and keep it clean. We'll see if he can, in fact, do that.
Yeah, Ty Tessman working his way up to the number 2 spot now. Dakota Finn in 3rd. Ryan Mayfield, Jared Wiggins, your top 5. There's Ty Tessman working his way through the infield, the X-ray driver.
To find a little bit of time there. Right now, Ty Tessman on an 11.5 flat. So we'd have to find just a little bit here. Get to that 12-lap mark. Lap times, by the way, quickest we've seen so far here, 26.9. Ryan Mayfield just stringing one together. 26.8, Spencer Rivkin.
Got a good look here. Joe Bornhorst, your race leader, in the top screen. We got Ty Tessman in the number 2 spot on the bottom screen. Joe Bornhorst off the drop away he goes, headed into the switchbacks on the left side. Joe Bornhorst's fast lap last time by was a 26.7. Fastest lap of the race right there for Joe Bornhorst. So Joe feeling good with the S-Works e-buggy. Laying it down at this point. Ty Tessman in that number 2 spot.
Yeah, he shaved that average off just a little bit, having a great session here. Now 12.520. Well, it was 5:25, back to 5:26 now.
Look at this, though. That last time by Ty Tessman, a 27 flat, his personal best for the race. He is now going to be 0.5 of a second back from Bornhorst.
Yeah, he's down on the 12 lap range now. 12.527 to 27 flat, I should say, to a 12.526.1. So about 0.9 there between the two.
Bornhorst back around on the right-hand side. Down the backstretch he goes. Into the drop away.
Oh, real nice. The car settled really nice in that drop away.
I could be wrong. I believe that might be Ty Tessman just ahead of him on the racetrack. Our second place driver, Ryan Mayfield, in 3rd, going to be just ahead of him. So our top 3 drivers in reverse order on the track. Here we're looking at Ty Tessman as he works his way around. Time is going to expire here. This is going to be a fantastic round of qualifying for Caden Fuller. That 11 at a 5 flat. He's looking at a 3rd overall at this point.
Got a long 54.3 out of Richmond, so Spencer, let me know if you were off the track or not.
Look at that time up there in the top corner for Joe Bornhorst. Up on the bike there, just hanging it out.
Joe's
Time
got
all but out here.
1 lap to go here. Joe and Ty both have got 1 lap to go. They were 0.2 of a second apart last time around. Mayfield is already done. Here they come through the switchbacks.
Oh, so close. 5:26.5, 5:26.8. Great stuff.
And Ty Tessman
How
is going
about
to
that?
get
Right
it.
at the
Wow. A 26.8, his personal best on the last lap. He is going to take it by 0.2 of a second over Joe Bornhorst. Wow.
Yeah, the average there, 5:26, a 12:526.45 to a 12:526.73. 0.274 the difference. that is oh so close. Great stuff, man, and that's what we're looking for. And of course, that's what we're going to see come tomorrow as well for the A mains. Ty Tessman up top there in our qualifying results. Bornhorst so close all the way across. Rivkin jumping up into the P3 spot ahead of Ryan Mayfield, and Mason Fuller inside of the top 5.
Well, these guys running back-to-back now. They're going to be going out for the Invite Nitro. And just behind the screen there is Mason Fuller's 8-scale buggy. And I'm looking at those tires. I don't know what those are that he's running. I can't honestly say that I've ever seen that tire before, so I don't know if he something worn down, traditional tread worn down or not. I don't know. We'll find out.
And one more time, let's get it over to Scotty Ernst. Scotty? And once again, we will fix technical issues there, see if we can get him potted up and get some volume coming out of the microphone. Scotty outside there working that track diligently. The Invite Nitro buggy race coming up here in just a moment. So again, to talk about the Invite Nitro buggy race, this is a pill draw, how they start here in this race, and once they finish this, it will determine how they start in A main number 2 for tomorrow.
And there you see the the Fuller brothers, Mason and Caden, both in the Invite class now. The HP Racing drivers, both of them running whatever tire that may be. Mystery tire. We'll see if it works out for them. There you see more tough luck for Brandon Rose. That last one as the body blows off. Trouble there for Mayfield with a rare mistake.
Finally settled down and put some laps together. So good stuff here out of that as we show you this highlights reel. Once again, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back on the other side with the Invite category. Stay with us.
AMSOIL runs on freedom and has since 1972. We punish our products firsthand in our world-class laboratories and beyond, because some things with us.
Ready for any challenge. Maxxis tires can handle even the most punishing off-road conditions. Maxxis tires. Tread victoriously.
Spaceport has been America's motorsports authority since 1934. Get news, results, and commentary from the most connected experts in the business, covering all forms of motorsports from flat track to NASCAR and everything in between. Bookmark Spaceport.com on your mobile device now, or follow Spaceport on social, and be sure to subscribe to the Spaceport Daily. Spaceport is your one-stop shop for all things racing on 2 wheels and 4.
And we are back here at the 2023 Visions Off-Road, so plenty of racing action yet to go with the RC Racing, A-Main Hobbies, HPI Racing, both presenting this race. We appreciate all of their support. And Invite Nitro Buggy Race number 2 about to take place here. They're conducting their warm-up laps as we speak. And we keep touching base on this because I think it's very important here in terms of the format and how fair it is that they've made this for everybody. So everybody with a pill draw. And the pill draw will tell you 3 different numbers on it, and each one of those numbers is where you will start in the 3 heat races here today for the invite category. And each one of those will be a good bit different so that you can start in the front, the middle, and the back in each one of those races. And then how you finish in your heat race here today determines the starting race for the 3 A-Mains come tomorrow. So everybody with a fair chance of starting up in the front at one point as we take a look at our Visions Off-Road starting order.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one here. We saw Jared Tebow in the first invite race, started clear in the back of the pack, was able to work his way up into the top 5. Jared Tebow now starting first in this one. Same with Fee Long Win. Fee starting in the number 2 spot this time. Mason Fuller starting 3rd. Camden Lime, who we saw bump out of the open class early on this morning, starting 4th. Ryan Mayfield 5th. Joe Bornhorst 6th. And the rest of the field lining up here for invite.
And 7th was our, I know they switched the page on you, but that was Caden Fuller, our second bump up in there. So we'll find out how he does as well. Speaking of Caden Fuller, he was all the way to the left-hand side of that screen as we take a look at some of our drivers up in there. And you can see the hats are on now as the sun is out in full effect. Crew members down there are about to line everybody up there, get them in their spots, and turn them loose. 15 laps here is this session. They've got about... well, it says here just a few seconds to go before we get this thing started. So we'll get everybody going there. The starter down there, Sean Miller. Telling everybody to prep those cars. They'll fuel these things up.
Yeah, our second invite race here. This is going to be an exciting one. Everybody lined up on the grid. As you can see, first and second are actually lined up over on the far right side. There's Graham Hill pitting for Jared Tebow. Fee Long Win pitting in the starting number 2 spot. Then on the front straight, we've got the rest of the field as they kind of wrap around that corner after the double.
Guys making a nice flat surface, it would appear there, so they have plenty of grip whenever they hit the throttle to take off.
So we're ready to go. Let's go ahead and fill them up with fuel. Fill them up, fill them up, fill them up.
The average, I want to say Jared Tebow, who will lead this one off, had an overall finish of 5th last year here at Visions, finished up 8th, 7th, and then a 3rd place finish. Hands up, put them down. That is it, man. We are racing. Here we go. 15 laps for Invite Nitro Buggy Race number 2. A big pileup down there. 2, 3, 4 cars involved.
Yeah, I got a feeling these first couple of laps aren't going to be quite as clean or as nice as they were in round 1. Everybody's been sitting around waiting a while, anxious to get on the racetrack. Jared Tebow right now just trying to put a little gap between him and the field. Fee Long Win hanging strong there in the number 2 spot. Mason Fuller in that 3 spot. Camden Lime still in 4th.
A little bit of gap there between 3rd and 4th as the first 3 get away with a nice clean out lap.
Dakota Finn starting in the back of the pack once again here. This one he
I think Dakota was caught up in that mess out there in first or second turn there. A bunch of cars got together. Cole Ogden down in there and Adam Drake as well. And great to have Adam Drake out here. Of course, one of the legendary drivers. Whoa, nice pass.
Mayfield working his way to the inside there. I believe that was going to be Camden Lime.
Just got a quick update here as we are in the middle of this race. We had a hard out at 5 o'clock. We're going to stretch that out. They're going to allow us another 15 minutes here. That is nice of them. Hopefully we can get everything in here today as we continue to watch this battle here at the front. It is Jared Tebow still out front. Fee Long Win, Mason Fuller. Mayfield now up in P4.
Oh! Big trouble right there for the Miyako of Jared Tebow. He drops to the number 2 spot now. Fee Long Win taking over the number 1 spot. Fee gets up on 2 wheels. Mason Fuller right there, ready to take advantage if either one of these drivers make a mistake, and right there behind them is going to be Ryan Mayfield, Joe Bornhorst. It is anybody's race at this point. You can see how precise these guys are, all hitting the exact same line. Tebow tries to dive to the inside on Fee. Fee not giving in whatsoever.
A little bit high there in that run. Fee bumping in a year ago. Did not have great results in any of the 3 A mains, but dealing with the pressure here now a year later, what a difference that can make, because the absolute best just hawking him behind. This is exactly what some of the guys predicted, that we would have a train of really good cars here. They're separated by just a couple of tenths of a second in terms of lap times, so it makes it extremely difficult to pass.
And Fee, without a doubt, one of the youngest drivers, if not the youngest driver here, for sure the youngest driver in our invite class.
Scotty has a little bit more on Fee. Scotty? And again, it seems like the microphone not working there, and a pass as Jared Tebow, I believe, was just passed by Mason Fuller.
Yep, looks like Mayfield. Oh, Mayfield goes inside there, clips Tebow. That's going to collect Bornhorst as well. All sorts of trouble there for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Mayfield dropping back a bit now into the number 4 spot. That's going to put Tebow back up into 3rd. Mayfield to 4th. Camden Lime into the number 5 spot.
Now Fee Long Win with a little bit of breathing room there as the top 3 are separated by just a bit, and Fuller and Tebow. Tebow about to have a rear wing full of Ryan Mayfield.
Here they come down the front stretch onto the right-hand side. I got a feeling these guys are playing a little nicer today throughout qualifying. This is for starting positions in the main events tomorrow. So I got a feeling they're going to work together a little better today than they will tomorrow. But when the big money's on the line tomorrow, when there's the slightest opening, these guys are going to try to take it, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think you probably hedge your bet, okay, starting 4th, 5th, somewhere in that general area, rather than risk it all and find yourself in the back of the pack. But I agree with you. Tomorrow it will be game on. Nice little correction there out of Fee Long Win after it landed a bit on the side.
The 2 HP Racing
about to
drivers.
get past here if he doesn't get up on the pipe here pretty quickly. Mason Fuller's coming.
Teammates right there, Fee Long Win and Mason Fuller, both HP Racing drivers.
And once again, let's get it down to Scotty. He has more on Fee Long Win.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, if we rewind a few months back, young Fee ran as best as he could. He was a contender at the Silver State race in Las Vegas with a 2nd place overall against these guys.
Lit up. Fee Long Win now, gapping that out just a little bit more.
Only 6 laps to go here. Now Jared Tebow starting to turn up the heat once again. Tebow putting the pressure on Mason Fuller. Those 2 drivers have been racing together quite a bit throughout the winter season up at the Hobbytown USA Hobbyplex in Omaha, Nebraska for that Techno Winter Series. Here they come back around on the left-hand side. Mason Fuller going a bit wide. Tebow trying to dive to the inside. Not going to be quite close enough. He's got Mayfield charging up behind him. Fee Long Win, meanwhile, trying to stretch out his lead in this one. Keep an eye on Mayfield and Tebow. Oh, Ty Tessman is out. Tessman out of this one.
We'll start deep in A-Main number 2. Time winding down here with 4 laps to go. Man, 2 or 3 people tagging the tube down there.
That was Fuller. Then Mayfield got into Tebow coming off the drop away there. Out of all of that, Mayfield moves up to the number 2 spot. Joe Bornhorst, I believe, up into the number 3 spot. Tebow drops to the 4 and Fuller to the 5. Fee Long Win says, see you later. I got 3 laps to go. This one is mine.
Yeah, we'll go back and take another look at this, and this is a precursor, I think, of what we're going to see tomorrow when they're nose to tail like this. They are so close to each other. If anybody has a moment like that, it's going to collect 2 or 3 more.
So Mason Fuller makes a mistake on his own there. Mayfield taps the rear end of Tebow just as they come off the drop-off. It all just turned into one big cluster there, and Mayfield comes out the best out of that deal. Well, I should say Fee Long Win comes the best out of it.
Fee Long Win, yeah. He gets some breathing room, some of the pressure taken off. Look at that gaggle of cars there now, though, all nose to tail, side by side, trying to make some last-minute passes here. Just 2 laps yet to go.
And Dakota Finn trying to work his way into the top 5. Fee Long Win out front leading this one. Mayfield only 1.7 seconds behind him. We're looking at Mayfield here. Fee Long Win just ahead of him.
Mayfield trying to track him down, see if he can apply some pressure here late. Lap times here, 27.6 to a 27.4, so Mayfield just a tick quicker there, but not enough to really close that gap. Felong Nguyen doing a great job. He has been very consistent here.
Here they come back through the infield. This is going to be the final lap right here. Unless Fee makes some kind of major mistake, this is his race. An absolutely astounding run here as he comes down the front straightaway. Felong Nguyen has done it. Felong Nguyen, your heat race win there for Invite. Round number 2, he will be starting first on the grid tomorrow for the main event, A-Main number 2.
Yeah, how about that? I mean, he needed that too. I mean, in terms of confidence here at Visions, not that he hasn't come a long ways here in the past year, but last year bumping in 13th, 14th, and 13th, his 3 finishes in the A-Main. Now he knows he can get it done at this track, at this event. He'll come into A-Main number 2 tomorrow with a ton of confidence.
Starting in that number 1 spot, that's going to be huge on this track. Ryan Mayfield finishing up at the number 2 spot. Jared Tebow in 3rd. Mason Fuller 4th. Jared Wiggins 5th. Dakota Finn worked his way up to 6th. Joe Bornhorst, Spencer Rivkin, Camden Lime, Cole Ogden round out your top 10. Followed by Caden Fuller, Adam Drake, and unfortunately Ty Tessman off the track at the 4.5-minute mark. Looks like Drake came off early as well at the 6:30. We'll have to see what happened to both Drake and Ty Tessman.
And once again, we will get it over to Scotty Ernst.
All right, thank you very much, guys. We got Felong Nguyen here, little bump. Man, an excellent drive. Continued to show these guys that you got what it takes to run with the best in the world. Tell us about that run.
Well, that was really fun and noticing because I have Ryan Mayfield at me catching up, and I try not making any mistakes. And plus, starting second had me in a big advantage to win that heat.
The first guy to come over and say congratulations was Ryan Mayfield, gave you a fist bump. That must make you feel good.
Yeah, it does.
All right, well, great job and good luck in the next round.
Thank you.
All right, their little Fee, 12 years old from Louisiana. Definitely the surprise of our industry over the last couple of years. Ran great at Silver State, taking a heat race win here. Just amazing to see the youngster from Louisiana running strong with the best in the world here at Visions. Back to you, Ken and Mike.
Thanks a lot. 12-year-old, no question, and very cool for Ryan Mayfield to come over there and congratulate that young man as well. Ryan Mayfield, he'll give it to you either way.
Yep.
Congratulate you, or if he's not happy with it, you'll hear from him on that side of it as well.
Well, the cool side of that whole story right there is Felong Nguyen, and this may be why Ryan Mayfield, headed over to him so well and told him congratulations. Is it reminds me a lot of guys like Ryan Mayfield, Ryan Cavalieri, Jared Tebow. They turn professional around that age as well. Around the 12, 13, 14-year-old. That's when these guys turn professional, so they're seeing a whole new generation coming up. And I think they're competitors, but at the same time, Mayfield's just happy to see a new generation taking over.
Super cool stuff, for sure. Okay, and once again, we'll take a quick commercial break here. Stay with us. A lot of action yet to come from MAO.
AMSOIL runs on freedom and has since 1972. The rest of the market has been trying to follow our lead ever since. But a head start is a head start. Run with us.
Always my love. I am searching high. I'm searching low in the night. Ooh, does she know that
You're watching the 2023 Visions RC at Visions Off-Road. RC racing at its best out here at this beautiful complex. One of the step-ups there. Beautiful day now. Definitely on the warm side. Started off a bit cloudy. We had some rain. We had a bit of a delay. But in the meantime, we have been able to take care of this track and get all the competitors back out here as we can keep charging at tomorrow's A-Mains.
Good look here at pit lane as we get set to go here for our Sportsman Nitro Buggy. Final round of qualifying here for these drivers. There's your lineup of drivers that are coming up in this one here from Visions Off-Road. Dylan Bartrager, I believe, has taken TQ in round 1 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. Can he do it again here in round number 3? We're about to find out.
Burnham, Forrest, Logan, Parker, Remington, Robinson, Sosine, Womack, and Callies, all part of this group. Warm-up session here for a couple of minutes to get everybody ready to go here once again. And then the race length will be 6 minutes. Not on throttle quite as hard as the pros would be, so should have no issues here with running out of fuel. Like we saw Brandon Rose do a little bit earlier, just on the throttle really hard. Also thought he had some issues with the car, so it was holding it up a little bit, possibly using even more fuel to push it through. But that's how close they are, how close they're running these things, right to the very edge.
I got to hand it to Brandon Rose. I had no idea that car was broke. He was driving it phenomenal, regardless of being broke.
And it did look like they have sprinkled a bit of water on this track, as the Sportsman Nitro buggies will come out here. So, and it's almost dried up immediately. That's how warm it is out there now. A couple areas there, you can see where they put some moisture down. That left-hander seems to be smoothing out a little bit. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would say so, just a bit. It either that or these guys are making it look a whole lot better. One of the two.
Funny how it can go, and they can run it up and then they can smooth it back out, just run it over the tops.
Looks like a few drivers may not be checked in here in this one. We may only have a few cars in this race. Looks like only 3 drivers are out there at this time.
4 maybe?
4 maybe, yeah.
15 seconds, drivers. 15 seconds. So you're losing.
Again, beautiful look there at this track, and we appreciate everything that Joey Christensen and the Dirt Crew have done, and certainly working on it, maintaining it throughout the rain delay as well. Jimmy Babcock, the race director, Sean Miller, our starter.
So another quick water after this one. Then we run race 2 and 3.
And it looks like this race is underway. So, yeah, I think we've only got 4 drivers out on the track here in this one. Not sure where the other 6 drivers are that should be out there. They are not out here for our final round of qualifying.
Well, plenty of track space for these 4. Watch them all end up together.
Yeah.
Just the way it goes.
Ooh, what a save.
Big yard dart action right there. Those hurt in the big truck. Robert Stout, one of the stadium super trucks out there at Long Beach, nose down like that on a yard dart effort in a big truck at Long Beach on the asphalt, and landed so hard it bent the front bumper back up into the frame and somehow got away with it. Never crashed. It's about as close as you can get to sticking one and not wrecking.
I bet that costs a little more than it costs these guys to fix.
Yeah, they're super cool about that. It was okay. I mean, they also sail at the better part of a football field in the air as well. So it's a fan exciting favorite to say the least. Definitely putting on some excitement out here as well. Love watching the sportsmen hone their craft and get better, and you can watch them every lap in some cases. Just continue to get better. They just kind of get in that rhythm. We talked about it before. Of course, the pros will come out here and just nail it right off the bat. Maybe it takes them 1 or 2 turns, maybe no turns. But here, they might struggle the first couple of laps and then slowly start putting it together. And it's cool to watch them learn. And and come along exactly what they're doing. You mentioned it before, Fee Long Wen, just a couple of years ago down here at this level, and now just won one of the invite races, so super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the amount of technique and fine-tuning that these guys can do, even while they're driving, you notice a lot of these sportsman guys keeping the cars level and straight on the track. You see a lot of the pro guys whipping the car around, setting it up mid-air for the corners, you know, flipping the car from one side to the other, adjusting it from front to rear. And just little things like that can make all the difference when you reach those pro levels. And it's amazing what these guys can do with an RC car. Looks like Michael Forrest is going to be leading this one. John Cayley's in number 2 spot. Nicholas Logan, that 3 spot. Blake Remington in the 4 spot here. Oh, big trouble.
Back on all fours, though. No harm, no foul. Just skinned over that jump. Nice double. Step down.
Word on the street is old Travis Pastrana did this with a rally car a few days ago, testing out on the track. Did a couple rolls and tumbles. And
that is exactly right.
I don't know that his came right back on the wheels and kept going.
Yeah, no, it did not, and they had a little bit of work to do, and he also had a passenger.
So, even better.
Yeah, the last turn over there on that track has a kicker on the inside of it, so he hit it, and he hit it at speed and tried to pitch it in there sideways, and when it landed, it hooked, and they went for a bit of a ride. So, Travis Pastrana style. You got to try it out, man. He is not afraid. Well, it just blows my mind that people will still get in the car with him.
Yep. Michael Forrest right now with 2 minutes, 20 seconds left to go here in this one. He is on a 12 at a 6:04 pace. John Cayley's in the number 2 spot. Nicholas Logan that 3 spot. Blake Remington in the 4 spot. So Bottreger not out there. Burnham, Parker. Quite a few drivers not out there here for this round for Sportsman Nitro Buggy. Coming up next will be race number 2. I believe we'll be heading into our Sportsman E-Buggy division.
Oh, France is getting out there late.
Making those doubles look easy here as they blip the throttle. Confused our cameraman right there. Had a good lock on it. And the car changed directions. He changed with it and lost them both. I almost fell out of the chair.
You know something that we haven't really talked about that the drivers are talking about as well is the Jurassic temperature changes. It was 70-something degrees when it was overcast this morning, and now we're getting up in the 90 degrees. That also affects fuel mileage and tuning on these cars as well, so they got to try and work that in there throughout their warm-ups. And a minute to warm up, 45 seconds to warm up, that's not a whole lot of time to get a lap in and get it tuned if it needs to be fine-tuned in either direction.
Yeah, and then again at this level, how much time do you spend tuning the car or fixing yourself?
Yep.
Which one is the problem, you know? And, I mean, we had it to – my son's a professional level racer at this point, and I remember saying, let's not worry about the car. Let's fix you first. There's just so many variables. So once you feel like you're driving a good line, okay, now let's go to work on the car so you can you can tune yourself right back out of something if you're not driving it properly.
Absolutely. Michael Forrest right now, he seems to be driving it properly as he is out front 12 to 6:09. He's got a 3.5-second lead over Nicholas Logan in the number 2 spot. John Cayley's in that 3 spot. Blake Remington in the 4 spot here for our Sportsman Nitro Buggy. Final round of qualifying here from Visions. 20 seconds left to go here in this one.
Yeah, good stuff. And as you can see, I mean, we saw a lot of action with these cars crashing at the beginning of the session. Now everybody's pretty much staying on track, getting in some good, clean laps. Exactly what we were talking about before, just getting a feel for it, try to get in that rhythm, and just put together some good, clean laps. And that's what you see at the end of this session. Whoa, big time air. Sailed it out over that jump.
Well, time is going to expire here. This should be Michael Forrest's lap around as he comes around on the left-hand side. John Cayley's in that 2 spot. Nicholas Logan still in 3rd. Blake Remington in 4th.
Wrapping this session up here. As time has run out, they will finish up these final laps. Forrest up top. Does a nice job there. Comes across at a 12.612. 12 laps at 6:12. And 12 laps, 6:18 for John Callies. And it looks like Nicholas Logan might jump up there just ahead of John. 12 laps, 6:16 to a 12 laps, 6:18 for John and Blake Remington there in the 4-hole. We'll take a look at our final results there for that race.
Looks like Michael Forrest going to take that one. Nicholas Logan second, John Caley's third, Blake Remington fourth. Francis Sosing showing that he got out there and ran 7 laps. Must have had a late start there for him. Rest of the field not out there, as now it is time for Sportsman E-Buggy. See the E-Buggy drivers, a lot of those we will see from that last Sportsman Nitro Buggy race we just had there. Some water getting thrown down on the track very quickly in between races here. Quick highlight from that last one. Michael Forrest taking the lead early on, leading it basically from start to finish. Some trouble for a few other drivers. Some big tumbles. Coming up a bit short right there.
We're pushing hard here to try to get everything in the next 25 minutes. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And once again, we are at Mid-America Outdoors for the 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road. Once again, a look at pit road there and the steel grate that they run across. The drivers stand up above with a great overhead view. Purpose-built RC track. As you can see, it's absolutely gorgeous. The warm-up clock has started here, so we'll get some seat time in here for the Sportsman E-Buggy category. 12 cars scheduled to compete here in this particular session. Looks like if they're not all out there, they're really close to all of them, a pile of them.
Yeah, this is our Sportsman E-Buggy Class 2 division, 2 heats, I should say. Ian Morey, Jason Morey, Frank Columbia, Taylor Janda, Jake Goodlett, Justin Turner, Boomer Wheeler, Peyton Lamb, Brad Langley, and Bucky Bachman. I believe Boomer was the one to watch in round number 2.
Had a bunch of fans online, too. They were all rooting for Boomer.
I don't personally know Boomer, but I'm rooting for Boomer, too.
I do not. I mean, how do you not root for a guy named Boomer Wheeler? Obviously a Wheeler. Great stuff there. Has some friends out there. That's good stuff. And, yeah, was up top, as I recall.
Yeah. Had a fantastic run.
I don't know that he was quick overall, but he was quick in his session, as I recall.
These drivers getting all checked in here as we get set to go. Ian Morey, Jason Morey, Frank Columbia, Taylor Janda, the rest of the field. The dirt crew sprinkling down just a little bit of water before the start of this one. Got 2 heats of Sportsman E-Buggy, 1 more heat after this one.
Everybody looking for a spot there in the back, so once that clock takes off here, under 10 seconds to go there, they can tag the throttle and get after it.
Less than 5.
Try to get as many laps in as absolutely possible in this 5-minute session.
All right, Luther's live. Everybody goes at the same time.
Oh,
again, Ken,
big launch.
As you talked about early on in the day, I don't know that I would all take off together, but they did, so we'll see how it works out.
I will say before, as two of them get together and go for a big ride right there, whenever I did say that, one upside down, I was unfortunately thinking of a single lap qualifying session, not the entire group, but I certainly understand it now. You want to take off and have a shot at getting as many in as possible, and really only one out of that group of 5 has got a good clean outlap working as Frank Columbia finally gets it across there. Boomer Wheeler was a little bit deeper in that pack. Ian Morey now jumps up to the top. Bucky Bachman as well in P2. Frank Columbia P3. And Boomer P4.
Yeah, 4 minutes left to go here in this one. Ian Morey going to be out front leading the way early on, 11 at a 5:21 pace. Bucky Bachman in the number 2 spot. Columbia in the 3 spot. Boomer in that 4 spot. Brent Langley rounding out your top 5. Now Peyton jump at the top. Oh, trouble there. I believe that is Frank Columbia, if I'm not mistaken.
And he stuck the landing a couple of jumps ago. I mean, he just did it perfectly. Great timing. But, yeah, man, went for quite a ride right there. Glad it landed back on all fours and it is not beaten up too bad.
Frank in second, Bucky in third, Brad Langley 4, and Boomer in the top 5 here.
And we're hearing that Bucky Bachman is one of the scoring guys here at this event. So a worker out there enjoying the craft as well. He's part of the timing for short course, so we appreciate what he does over there in that area.
So that means he knows the scoring system well. So
well, it means he can.
So what I'm saying
tell you
here,
when a car comes across the line.
So what I'm saying here is, Bucky, what are you doing, man? You don't have to be in 6th. You know this system. Just hop in there, give yourself a couple more laps.
Right?
Yeah.
2 down, 3 to go. 2 down, 3 to go.
Well, up there a little bit high as once again we keep an eye on Frank Columbia, currently still P number 1, working on a 10-lap 5:06. Boomer Wheeler currently second, working on a 10-lap 5:08, just a couple of seconds off. Bucky in the neon shirt there, second one in.
Frank Columbia going to be out front here.
He almost missed that step down. Didn't carry quite enough speed. Make a little adjustment next time around.
Boomer not far back from him in the number 2 spot right now. Only 1/10 of a second back here from Columbia.
Yeah, picked up a couple seconds there on Columbia. With that said, Columbia just picks up the pace here. Now a 10.505 flat to a 10.507.6 for Ian Morey.
Ian Morey sets fastest lap of the race on lap number 1 at 29.2 for him.
Going the wrong direction there.
Oh, boy.
That's how you add time.
Bucky in the number 4 spot. Ian Morey in the 5 spot. Peyton Lamb in the 6th. Taylor Janda, Jason Morey, Justin Turner, Jake Goodlett, Matt Gilbert, and Steve Collins. Your running order here in this one.
Thinking this is Bucky right there with the wing color to match the shirt.
I believe you are correct. Crossing the line there. Onto the backside of the track he goes. That's coordination. He's got a matching wing, wheels, shirt.
I really don't remember if the shirt's that color. I knew it was a neon color, but it may or may not be matching. Nonetheless, he's doing a really good job, man. I mean, nice and consistent there for Bucky, currently sitting in the 4th position at a 10.513, chasing a 10.505. sitting 4th out of 10 cars that are on track. Matt Gilbert, Steve Collins not making the call here so far.
There's Bucky there in the live time scoring shirt. Oh, trouble there. Boomer Wheeler taking over the number 1 spot now.
How about that?
Boomer on a 10 at a 5:10 pace, 0.4 of a second now ahead of Brad Langley. Bucky up into 3rd. Taylor Janet a 4th. Frank Columbia back in the number 5 spot. Time going to expire here in this one.
Langley jumps up to P1. Boomer down to P2. His fans are back online. Let's go, Boomer. Bucky Buckman up there into P3. Boomer back to the top. Going back and forth here. Great stuff. The difference about a half a second.
We'll see what Brad Langley's got when he comes around. Boomer finished up with a 10.509. Here comes Brad. Brad working his way towards the finish line. Oh, that may have been Brad with trouble there. Look at this. Bucky up into the number 2 spot. So Boomer Wheeler going to take this one, 10 at a 5:09. Bucky Bachman, our very own, at live time scoring, 10 at a 5:10, taking 2nd. Taylor Janda 3rd. Brad Langley dropping to 4th on that last lap. Jason Morey, Frank Columbia, Ian Morey, Peyton Lamb, Jake Goodlett, and Justin Turner rounding out your top 10 there from our first heat of Sportsman E-Buggy.
And the sportsmen are always excited in the heat races because you never know when something major is going to happen, right? So they jostle around. The guys, the pros, the invite drivers are so consistent, you're not expecting anything to happen. But with the sportsmen, you just never know.
You're absolutely right there. You saw Bucky coming off the driver's stand.
Bucky at the 8. Bucky go to the 8. Peyton Lamb at the 9. Brad Langley.
Coming up next, going to be another heat of Sportsman E-Buggy as that first group finishes up. Boomer Wheeler set that early TQ time, 10 at a 5:09. That's the time to beat. Can anybody here in heat number 2 beat him? We'll find out here very shortly as we take a quick look back at the highlights from that last one and get set for heat number 2 of Sportsman E-Buggy.
Boomer getting it done. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be back in just a moment. And we're back once again at the 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road. Good look at the overall picture of the track, and I believe Scotty Ernst might have something for us.
All right, thank you down here. We're here with Bucky, and Bucky, we've known each other because we raced together back home,
right.
But you're wearing multiple hats here this weekend. Not only racing here on ours, but you got the yellow safety shirt on the live time here.
Yeah.
You're scoring a couple of the big trucks. Tell us about your weekend.
Yep. So I got here, I think it was Monday morning, and I've been working on the short course track over there, and we're doing the side-by-sides, the Pro Light trucks, and that kind of stuff. So it's been a really fun week so far. We've got a lot of races in. In fact, our pros are racing tonight, and they're going to be racing in about 6:30, I think is what it's going to be. So,
how does it feel to be knee-deep into the full scale and everything that Visions has to offer here?
I mean, this opportunity is pretty cool. I talked to Brandon with Live Time, and he was like, we need some help, and I said, I'm happy to do it, and this has just been a totally killer experience.
Oh, that's awesome. And now you're holding your own big race here in a few weeks in Wisconsin.
I am, actually, next week. I'm going to go right from here to Monroe, and we're holding the Midwest Nationals at Cheese City Extreme in Monroe, and I think it's going to be a good race. So.
That's awesome. Well, good job in the racing. Good job helping out here.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, there you go. One of the faces of the names that you see on the result board. Bucky from back home in Wisconsin having a good time here at Visions. Back to you, Ken and Mike.
Do I dare take a shot at him and say it sounds like a cheesy event? That's just horrible. Do not go there. Good for him, though. That's great. Cheese City. I've never heard of that one. That's pretty cool. Cheese City National. So hope they have a great event up there as well. As we continue on here, it looks like the clock has already started here for the Sportsman E-Buggy Heat Race number 2 and Q3.
Looks like Dylan Bontrager out there here for this one. He was not out there for the Nitro Buggy Heat. He's going to be the first one to cross the line there with a 30.3, where it looks like we're following him in that green and pink buggy as he drops down.
Good look here as Dylan Bontrager doing a good job here trying to put this thing together. People talking to me and looking at the scoreboard as well. 28.999 the lap time so far as they get this one started here. Working on 11.526, 11 lap 526 pace.
John Cayley's jumping up in that number 2 spot now. Nicholas Logan in the 3 spot. Oh, trouble there. Switching our view here as they come down the front stretch. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is going to be... I thought that was going to be Nicholas Logan, but I don't think it is. 3 minutes, 15 seconds left to go here. Dylan still out front. 11 to 5:21. He is 2.7 seconds ahead of John Cayley's right now. Michael Forrest still in third. Francis Sosing in that number 4 spot, and Brian Johnson rounding out your top 5 here. Dylan has had a phenomenal weekend here in qualifying for our sportsman classes. He's trying to put in a possible another TQ here. Boomer Wheeler right now is your current TQ. 10 to 5:09 is the time to beat. And Dylan is ahead of that at 11 to 5:21. There's Dylan on the track, the green and pink. As he works his way back down the front stretch onto the right-hand side here. Dylan Bontrager out front leading the way. Michael Forrest now 8 seconds back. So Dylan carving his way through traffic here as he comes onto the right-hand side of the track. Oh, trouble there for lap traffic. That's good news for Dylan. Dylan playing patiently here with the rest of the field. He dives back to the inside here. He's going to try to set him up as he comes onto the front side of the track. 3 minutes down, 2 to go here for these drivers in our Sportsman E-Buggy. The final heat here for round number 3. Oh, up 2 wheels for Dylan. What a save right there for Dylan Bontrager. Michael Forrest in that number 2 spot there, 8.6 seconds apart. Oh, Bontrager tries to make a move there on some lap traffic, and they took it right back from him. No love for your race leader here in this one. Dylan shows him a little bit of a wheel there, gives him a bump as they come back onto the right-hand side. Up and over the double they go. Bontrager looking for the inside. Up and over the double, back down the front stretch now.
What a great
down across the drop, away they go. Bontrager out front, leading now. John Cayley's up to the number 2 spot, it looks like. Michael Forrest in the 3 spot. Francis Sosing in the 4th. Michael Logan. Nicholas Logan, I should say, in the number 5 spot. 1:05 left to go here. Sportsman E-Buggy. So Boomer Wheeler in that last one, 10 and a 5.
4 down, 1 to go, drivers. 4 down, 1 to go. Now we might have to do 2 waters. We might have to do water after race 5.
Forrest right now is on a 10 and a 5:08, sitting in the number 3 spot. So those 3 drivers looking for a top 3 overall here for Sportsman E-Buggy. Round 3 of qualifying. Boomer Wheeler in the number 4 spot still. Francis Sosing in that 5 spot.
Battle here. Sorry about that, Mike. Didn't mean to hang you up there. We just had a technical glitch here going on. So back now, but what a great battle this has turned out to be.
Yeah, as they're working their way around here, Dylan now clean track ahead of him. Michael Forrest still in the number 2 spot. He is only 0.2 of a second ahead of John Caley's. That's going to be our closest battle in the front here.
Kicking up a little bit of dust here. 11.523 the pace here to a 10.507. It's a good hit. Dylan doing a great job.
Ooh, hard hit there onto the back straight.
Quick lap so far, 28.62, also by Dylan. Stringing one together as time is winding out. Completing these last laps.
Looks like Michael Forrest going to finish up in that number 2 spot there with a 10 and a 5.06. Dylan Bontrager has done it again. Sportsman E-Buggy, round 3 top qualifier with 11 and a 5.21.
Oh, stuffed that thing right into the tube there at the end of the race.
Probably a good thing the fence was there, otherwise the mechanic walking down the
still
side.
Be going.
Yeah.
And just like that, quickly got the water hoses out there to try and take care of that and dress up a couple of those tubes as well. So that'll wrap things up there with heat race number 2. Or heat 2, race 3, Q3.
We're now going to be headed into our open nitro buggy division. We've got 2 heats of these drivers, I do believe. Overall top qualifier out of these will go into the invite class. More action here from Visions coming up from our open division class.
Yeah, we'll actually have an opportunity
Amsoil
to
runs
bump up.
on freedom and has since 1972. We punish our products firsthand in our world-class laboratories and beyond, because some things can't be learned from a test tube. Run with us.
Lightweight, agile, and strong, the Pitbull is perfect for the job. The Pitbull is the first and only lift that can be used in the pits and in your garage. Elevate your racing with a Handy.
Stacking these races up one after the other here as we are at the 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road. All of this action brought to you by A-Main Hobbies and HPI Racing. Also want to throw some love out to Tekin, VP Fuels, Team Associated, and Live Time.
We got our open nitro buggy drivers. 2 heats of these drivers getting set to go here. The top qualifier out of these 2 heats going on to the invite and taking that final $1,000 check. No, I shouldn't say the final. We got one more after that.
Well, actually, I believe the way it goes, so we have 3 heat races here, so we'll have 3 overall winners that would bump up, and then the next fastest person out of those 3
is going to bump up
as well. That's my understanding of it. I don't know if they get a $1,000 check or not. I don't think so.
Ooh.
That's a Brandon question.
Ooh.
Come on, Brandon, throw him $1,000, dude.
Oh, it's $1,000.
Yeah, what's $1,000?
Yeah.
as he comes walking over here with a hat.
Yeah.
Feel free to throw in, guys.
Open Nitro Buggy getting set to go here. Heat number 1 of 2, Creed Nally, Dennis Remington, Santos Rodriguez, Brandon Rose, Barry Rowe, Katie Roxbury, Joshua Vigil, Will Walker, Craig Waller, Reggie Tung, Camden Lime. But Camden is not in this one. He is bumped up into the invite class. Well, it's Brandon Rose's final shot here.
Yeah, and we don't want to sound biased here. I mean, whoever can get it done gets it done. But he's been so close 2 times. I mean, literally, as he said, 2 turns away from bumping up in the last one and flamed out, unfortunately. So we'll find out if he can get it done once again. He also had the horrible luck there in the E-race. So hopefully he gets it all out of his system here. We'll see if he can bump up in there. But with that said, we wish everybody the best of luck.
Looks like the track is freshly watered. The cars are out on the track now.
Warm-up session has begun. Race length will be 6 minutes. A couple of heat races here to figure out who that person is going to be that will bump up. Those people, I should say, 2 of them. And Brandon Rose already getting tagged right there. I believe that was Brandon.
Believe you are correct, and that's the last thing when that happened. Especially got hit on the left side there. That's the exhaust side.
And the cars definitely have some weight to them. I mean, as you watch them, oh man, big tumble right there. As you watch them, I mean, it looks like they weigh nothing. It looks like they're just light as a feather, but they actually do have some weight. Go grab a 5-pound plate, or a 7-pound plate, which is what they should be weighing in at, and they definitely have some substance to them. Certainly enough at speed there to work those dampers and have some aero effect on them as well. Great stuff as they come out here and throw these things around.
Talking about the weight of these cars, I really hope right now that Brad Shearer is watching the broadcast, and maybe we can remind him of how heavy the cars are. I think it was 2007-ish at the Roar Nationals in St. Louis when he took one to the forehead. And that didn't feel so hot.
Wow. Yeah, well, I was over chatting with Dakota Fenn a little bit earlier today. Picked it up, handed it to me, and I mean, it's definitely, there's some real weight there. There's no question about it. Very compact little machine, but definitely has some weight. I would not want to take one to the head, that's for sure.
Well, here comes the cars in for fuel. There's Brandon Rose on the pit wall. Getting topped off, getting set to go here. The green and white.
Final little top off there.
Making sure he's got plenty of fuel.
Yeah, right to the top here,
right,
guys.
yeah.
I'm going to need it all.
Oh.
One of them upside down here already. No harm, no foul, as time has yet to begin. However, it is starting in 5 seconds. So, oh, man, back to the pits. Tough go of it there. That will cost them some time for sure as we continue on here. Aluminum pistons, no rings, brass sleeve, 3-needle carb, about 30% nitro, 8% oil, and the rest of it would be methanol. Of course, all those numbers can change, can vary just a little bit. They make plenty of steam for sure, the better part of 3 horsepower. If you actually look at the weight to horsepower ratio, it's very similar to an Indy car. An Indy car at 700 horsepower weighing in at 1,630 pounds, 0.43, and these cars making 3 horsepower and 7 pounds, 0.42. So it'll give you an idea of where they're at in terms of horsepower to weight.
Off-road Indy cars.
There you go. Well, we talked about it before. The road cars are so impressive and extremely fast. The big difference there, of course, would be minimum ride height of 11 millimeters here, and the road cars, I believe, are 5 millimeters. But I've watched a couple of those things go. They are so impressive.
Well, a couple laps into this one, Brandon Rose is out front here, 14 at a 6:23 pace. He is right back on par, right where he picked up, or I should say right where he left off with the bad luck in round 1 and 2. I believe that is Rodriguez we're following right now as he is headed down the backstretch.
Yeah, Brandon, the only one in that 14-lap range as it stands right now. Have to put this entire session together. A long ways to go at 4.5 minutes.
As he works his way onto the back straight now. Into the drop away. A little bit of traffic up ahead of him.
He's got a nice adjustment there to miss those as well, and now is able to get clear of them.
Well, only 3 laps in. Brandon is already out to a 2.5-second lead here in this one. So I think at this point it's safe to say in this particular heat race, Brandon is by far the fastest driver on the racetrack. However, we've got another heat race of Open Nitro Buggy coming up next, so we'll see. Can his time hold? Can he finish this race?
Yeah, and I'm struggling to remember who bumped up. Was it Caden Fuller that bumped up in the last one? I believe it was. And they were within, I want to say, 2-3 tenths of each other.
It was.
That's how close it was at the end of the two heat races. So you need to put together a really good one is the point I'm trying to make here. And right now he clearly is on one at a 14.622. That is right down there where they were before.
Yeah, Brandon looks like he's got the car working really well. He looks really comfortable. As you mentioned earlier, you can kind of tell when a driver's in their flow, in their groove, and everything's working for him, and he looks really good out there right now. He's got a good track. They just got a little bit of water on it, so it's got good traction. And it looks like we're missing a few guys out of this one as well, so that plays into a factor as well. Not as much traffic to have to deal with that. I know, as he mentioned in the interview, we didn't realize that he was driving well enough that the car was broke in the last one after getting tangled up with some lap traffic. So
I think he said a left front shock, if I'm not mistaken. So he was dealing with a car, an ill-handling car, and we were when you said that, we were both impressed. He was making some small bobbles. I remember the last couple of laps, and it certainly made sense once he said that left front shock was broke. But, I mean, you'd never know it was broke. You know, it certainly wasn't that big. Yeah, he was really and good enough to bump up, as we said. Was literally 2 turns away.
2:30 to go here as he works his way through some more traffic. Fast lap on the track is Brandon Rose, a 27 flat. The only driver to get that close to a 26-second lap range. Joshua Vigil in the number 2 spot. His fast lap at 27.8. Reggie Tongue at 27.9. Everybody else in the 28s or above.
Yeah, and since the rain delay, I think we've only seen maybe 1 or 2 laps in the high 26 range, 26.9 or so, 26.8. So he's right there on pace with the fastest.
I believe this is going to be Joshua Vigil that we're following here in the number 2 spot. Joshua putting in a good run here. He's 6.5 seconds back from Brandon Rose.
Yeah, 13 lap pace here to Brandon's 14 lap pace, just for reference here. And Brandon, by the way, picking up the pace now at a 6:22.
And we keep talking about moving up into that invite class, the $1,000 check. The drivers that don't make it into the invite class, there's still $1,000 for the winner in the Open A Main tomorrow as well. Up for grabs, $600 for second and $400 for third in the Open class. So still some seriously good money to be made here this weekend for racing RC cars, even in the Open class, if they don't make it up into that invite class.
Yeah, great point. And Josh Vigil will want to keep digging here, even though he's not winning this one. As we talked about, they're going to take one more and bump him up, and that will be the next fastest. Now, I'm not sure what the protocol is on that, if it's just out of this second heat race grouping, you know, the 2 groups, the 2 heat races, I should say, and this third heat qualifier, or if it's going to be a combined of all 3 and then having the lowest elapsed time.
I believe it's going to be a combined of your best 2 of 3. I think is the understanding that I had by qualifying points. So in other words, if you, out of both heats, if you finish 5th for the round, you get 5 points. So it's going to be how you finish your best 2 rounds, I think, is going to be how that is sorted out.
So confirmation on that. Nice job, Mike.
10 seconds left on the clock here. Oh, come on, Brandon. Brandon Rose, little wheel flick there. Time is winding down. He's going to cross the line and go one more time after this one. Here comes Rose.
Yeah, that is that 14.622. So the 22 part of that is nearly a full lap. So crossing the stripe there and has to complete that final lap.
He's halfway there.
Yeah, he made it this far before.
Here he comes through the switchbacks. This is where it all went bad.
He made it this far before, and right there.
He's made it further. Here
wrong.
He comes down the front stretch. Come on, Brandon. And he's got it, Brandon Rose. He's going to take the heat race win. We got one more heat to go. One more to go.
He's not in yet.
He's not in just yet.
But he's closer than he's been.
Yes. Wow. Reggie Tongue. Fantastic drive
here
as well there. Reggie moving up into that number 2 spot with a 13.6.11. Joshua Vigil, 13.6.15. Santos Rodriguez, 13.6.28. Followed by Barry Rowe and Katie Roxbury.
Nicely done. Congratulations to Brandon as we take a look at our qualifying results here, courtesy of Visions Off-Road. And Reggie Tong as well keeps picking away at it. He's been up the top of the sheets here a couple of times. He might find himself as that quick number 2 guy.
Well, I was going to say, unofficially what we're hearing right now is Brandon Rose, even if he is not the quickest here for this next heat, there's a possibility, a very good possibility, that he will still be the fastest.
That's a really good point.
With the qual points playing into factor and all that, he could possibly make his way into the invite class that way.
But it'd be interesting if, and yeah, as you said, because they take 2 out of the 3, because in the 1 he had crashed and finished pretty deep.
They were getting a good look there at Jared Coley, father of Braxton Coley, getting set to take the track here. Some highlights there from that last one. Brandon Rose finally gets the heat race that he's been looking for. Little trouble there for him in warm-ups. Luckily, no damage done.
So just got a little piece of information before we go to a commercial break. Brandon Rose is going to be in one way or the other. Even if he finishes second here, we would have 4 points, and nobody else has a chance at making 4 points. So if he gets third or worse, oh, well, that's a great point. We have to see how things go. If he gets second, if somebody was to beat him and he was to end up second, he would still be in. If he ends up third, 2 people get ahead of him, well, that'll change the math. So stick with us. That's all hypothetical. We will land it for sure when we come back. Stay with us right here.
Speed Sport has been America's motorsports authority since 1934. Get news, results, and commentary from the most connected experts in the business, covering all forms of motorsports from flat track to NASCAR and everything in between. Bookmark speedsport.com on your mobile device now, or follow Speed Sport on social, and be sure to subscribe to the Speed Sport Daily. Speed Sport is your one-stop shop for all things racing on 2 wheels and 4.
AMSOIL runs on freedom and has since 1972. The rest of the market has been trying to follow our lead ever since. But a head start is a head start. Run with us.
And once again, welcome back to 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road. Ken Stout, Mike Garrison, Scotty Ernst calling the action for you. One race yet to go here today, and that'll wrap up the RC Racing for today's segment. We'll be back on live streaming again at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And, of course, all of our A-mains will take place tomorrow. The big money will be handed out tomorrow. We also want to let you know that you can watch the telecast on Speed Sport 1 in the near future as well. We'll keep people advised there. You can certainly go onto the website and keep up with all that information as well. So a lot going on here as the Open Nitro Buggy will continue here this final race. And, of course, that will give us a final time. We'll find out who the final 2 bump-ups are going to be and let you know.
Yeah, so Brandon Rose finally got the run he was looking for. He had a 14 at a 6:22. That's going to be the time to beat. Coming up in this one, we got Scott Brewer, Braxton Coley, Blake Everett, Brian Given, Spencer Heckert, Graham Hill, Jacob Vigil, Spencer Klein, Ethan Mechanic, Garrett Martin, and Shelby Parker. I'm going to say the ones to keep an eye on here, just based on what we saw in the first 2 rounds. I'm going to say that Mechanic is going to be one to keep an eye on. Cully's going to be up there. Heckert's going to be up there. Vigil will be up there, I'm sure. It's still anybody's race, to be honest with you, but those are going to be the guys that I think we're going to keep an eye on to possibly knock Brandon Rose off that top spot.
The clock is counting. It has begun. So, yeah, as we talked about before, if Brandon Rose finishes second, he would still be in. However, finishes third overall, then he's in some trouble for sure. We'll find out how it goes, though. He's certainly set a great pace. It'll be a tough one to match or beat, especially for a couple of people to get around him. We'll see how it goes, though. Braxton Coley, first one to lay a time down. We'll see if they pick up the pace here to 29.3. Is a bit off the pace. And it looks like the lap times are getting quicker as we speak.
Yeah, and just from the amount of time that they are on the track right now, from when they first got on the track in that last heat, the track has already dried out considerably. You see a lot more dust on the track, a lot more loose fluff on the outsides. The main line getting a little bit slicker here and there. The car's starting to push coming into some of the corners. So regardless, it's going to be hard to beat that time, even if it was the exact same track. That was a fantastic run for Brandon, but now that the track's going away just a little bit, it's going to be even harder to beat that time. Looks like Spencer Klein going to be coming out of the gate in the lead here. The Kyosho driver, 13 at a 6 flat. No, I'm sorry, 14 at a 6:26. So about 4 seconds off that early TQ time. We're looking at Spencer Heckert here, the S-Works driver in the red, white, and blue on the right-hand side.
Yeah, Spencer with 8 points working here. He's also a player here to get bumped up. Keep our eyes on him. Currently P1 and could take care of that all by himself without the points. We're going to 14.625. 14.622 was the mark, as you mentioned before, to beat. The only one close to that right now is Heckert.
Yeah, and Heckert that time around just turned fast lap of the race, a 27.2. A few more of those, and we may see him ahead of Brandon Rose's TQ time.
Yeah, and we saw Brandon Rose lay down a 27 flat, so right there in the hunt within a couple of tenths. A lot of time left inside of this one, just under 4 minutes.
Nice line for Heckert coming back onto the front stretch there, onto the right. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Way out wide.
Way wide there for Heckert.
Car a little upset there in the back as it landed in that step down.
26.9.
How about that? Throwing it down.
So Heckert now is only 1 second off Brandon Rose's time.
I wonder if that adjusts here because that is not calculated in that way wide turn. We'll see what happens here as he crosses the stripe. My guess is then it did go back up 1 second to a 6:24. So was that a 6:23? The time to beat 6:22 as you see it up there.
Well, there you just saw Brandon Rose waiting patiently on the driver's stand to find out if he's going to take that invite spot.
So if Brandon Rose does get in, if it's my understanding, I believe Heckert would be next in line. So again, just needs to keep good pace right here. Should be safe.
And I would imagine that Heckert has probably done the math in the pits as well, like you say, and he knows that even if he's not quite on pace with Brandon Rose, he knows he needs to stay in the groove, stay on a move, because he's still in the running to move up into that invite class.
Wow, really nice adjustment there, and then dodged the wreck. Oh. That mid-turn adjustment is no easy feat. That car over-rotated a little bit. He turned it back to the left and a right-hander and missed the tube and kept the momentum going. Very, very tough to do.
Well, there's Ethan Mechanic working his way around here.
Heckert still on pace. Yeah, Mechanic second. Spencer Klein third.
Heckert right now the only one on a 14-lap run. He's on a 14.624. Oh, no. Spencer Heckert with a 30.6. I don't know what happened to him that last lap, but now Mechanic's going to take over the lead, and they are both going to be on a 13-lap pace.
Yeah, Heckert 2 seconds behind Mechanic now, so, yeah, definitely missing a lap there. As the pressure continues to build, a minute and a half to go.
And at this point, I mean, Brandon Rose had a near flawless race. I don't think Heckert's going to be able to beat that time. I don't know that Heckert or Mechanic can make up enough time. So I think Brandon Rose is probably pretty safe. However, as you said, that next person to bump in, this is where Spencer Heckert needs to put the wheels to the ground and really get moving and get back up into that number one spot ahead of Ethan Mechanic.
Yeah, second and a half off the pace here behind Mechanic.
55 seconds left to go here in this one. Eckert on the right side, up and over the double he goes, coming down the back straight. Into the drop away. Fast lap on the race. He's the only driver to get down the 26-second lap range, 26.9.
A ton of speed inside of that car, no question. He put one together there. Unfortunately, had that bobble as well, which really cost him. To see if he can put together another great lap or two here as time is running out, and possibly, as you said, get back ahead of Ethan Mechanic, get those points.
Well, he's working on it that time by 27.1. Mechanic had a 27.6. They are now going to be 0.05 of a second apart according to timing and scoring. There's Ethan Mechanic right there. 15 seconds left to go on the clock. This one is going to come right down to the wire. Here comes Mechanic.
The spread on the average between Mechanic and Heckert is just 1/10 of a second. Heckert goes back up to the top by mere hundredths of a second. Whoever wins between these two is going to get that fourth and final bump up.
Wow, it is all coming down to this right here. They're both pushing a 14-lap run, but I think 13 laps is going to be all they're going to get. Here they come back around to the front side. One final time, Heckert makes a little bobble. Here comes Mechanic. Mechanic crossed the line. He's finished at a 13.6 flat, .698. Heckert with a 13.6 flat, .7. Ethan Mechanic is going to get it. Wow.
They're going to be tied on points. We believe they're going to be tied on points here. So they will take a look at this. It is that close. They might have to go down to time. The best or lowest elapsed time could be the tiebreaker here. Very, very close. So ending up 13.6.698 to a 13.6.793.
Wow.
There's pretty much 1/10 of a second there between the two of them over that 13-lap average. Very, very close there. Spencer Klein, very impressive run there as well as a 13.602. So congrats to Spencer as well, staying right there in the hunt. And we'll let the mathematicians, and they were already writing a name down here for Brandon Rose. We know he is in. Congratulations to Brandon. It took him all day to get there. He did it hard way, man.
He
but
did.
But he is finally in. Congrats to Brandon. Whoa. Once again, we're going to wait for official word. We have an unofficial result here between Mechanic and Heckert, but we want to wait until they have another look at that before we send it out. So congratulations to both of those guys, but they are waiting on pins and needles, trying to figure out if they're going to be in that invite class. It is Ethan Mechanic who is going to get that final invite. Wow, what a great battle between those two, but congratulations to Ethan. And we'll see if Scotty can catch up with one of the two, if not both, Brandon and Ethan. So great stuff there. However, I will say we have already pushed our heart out here. So we were supposed to be done at 5, and then they gave us to 5:15 and then 5:30, and it is a little bit past that. So we appreciate the park working with us here.
Well, it looks like the track crew put a little water down on the track here before we finish things up.
We're going to do a quick 30-second break and see if we can get back with an interview on the other side. Stay with us. We won't be gone for long. And we welcome you back here, 2023 RC Racing at Visions Off-Road. It's been a busy, busy day, especially when you factor in the rain that we had a little bit earlier. But congratulations to everybody that came out here, had a good run today. Of course, the people that did great in the Nitro category, the Invite category, for good starting spots in the A-Mains tomorrow. Everybody that was in the Open class that earned the bump-ups. We know that Camden Lime did it. Caden Fuller did it, Brandon Rose did it, and Ethan Mechanic did it as well. So congrats to the 4 bump-ups.
Yeah, what a fantastic day of racing. We obviously got served a little bit of weather, but it all worked out. And it was a fantastic day. The track crew did a great job getting the track back together. The racers did a great job keeping the show moving. A fantastic day for sure. A big thanks once again to our title sponsors, A-Main Hobbies and HPI Racing, and our supporting sponsors of Teak and VP Fuels, Team Associated, and Lifetime.
Yeah, I want to thank Scotty Ernst as well for keeping up with all the action down there and catching up with all those interviews. Great job today, Scotty. And, of course, my colleague here in the booth, Mike Garrison, doing an incredible job as well. It's been a great day to get things taken care of here at Mid-America Outdoors, a spectacular complex. Of course, we will be racing all day tomorrow. Make sure you join us at 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll get things started. We'll have our A-Mains. We'll build a TV show as well, and we're going to hand out $30,000 before the day is done. It's going to be an exciting day for sure for all of the categories involved. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow. It's time to go racing. Stay with us. I'm Ken Stout. It's been a blast.
Brandon Rose. And Brandon, I've interviewed you a few times so far today, and this is the most important one here. You finally got the win. Things went right in that final round.
Yeah, it finally all came together. It's been a little bit of a crazy day, just a bunch of bad luck happening. I feel like the car's been super good all day, just kind of fluke stuff happening. But yeah, finally everything came together that last run. Didn't make really any mistakes and win. So yeah, it was nice.
Absolutely. Got plans for the money?